Chapter 219. Why me? Ning Yu did not extend his hand to take the storage pouch from Su Xingyan's hand. Instead, he frowned and said, "You are much stronger than me. If you make a move, wouldn't it be easier for you to kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang? Plus, you don't even need to spend one high-grade origin crystal. It would be unrealistic for me to make a move." Su Xingyan said, "We are all from the Corpse Sect's Ghost Kai Palace. There is a clear rule that we cannot kill each other. Otherwise, the consequences will be unimaginable." After pondering for a while, Ning Yu said, "I don't want to get involved in your business. If there is nothing else, I will go out and welcome young Masterwen." With that, Ning Yu lifted his leg to leave. Whoosh! However, Su Xingyan's figure flashed and blocked his way. "Brother Su, what do you mean?" Ning Yu's face was a bit gloomy. "You don't want me to go out?" "Hee, Brother Danyu, don't think too much. I don't mean anything else." With a faint smile, Su Xingyan flicked his sleeve, and another storage bag appeared in his hand. 40 million upper-grade origin crystals. As long as you can kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang, all these origin crystals are yours. Whoosh! With a flick of his wrist, Su Xingyan directly threw the storage bag to Ningyu. Pa! Catching the storage bag, Ningyu used his soul perception to check inside. His heart skipped a beat, thinking that this was a big deal. Inside the storage bag, there were 20 million high-grade origin crystals. A deposit of 20 million high-grade origin crystals. After this, I will pay you the remaining 20 million high-grade origin crystals. Seeing Ning Yu catch the storage bag, Su Xingyan said with a smile, "Men die for wealth, birds die for food. I will do this. With so many high-grade origin crystals, it would be a waste not to take them." Besides, Ning Yu did not plan to stay here for long. He wanted to leave as soon as possible. Once when he came over and made contact with Su Xingyan, his identity would be exposed, and it would be too late to leave. However, at this moment, Ning Yu didn't choose to leave immediately. Instead, he asked, "Brother Su, if I'm not wrong, there should be a top-grade origin crystal mine inside, right?" Nodding his head, Su Xingyan did not deny it. He said, "There is indeed a peak-grade origin crystal mine. However, the amount is rather small, only 1 million peak-grade origin crystals." Hiss! Ning Yu drew a cold breath. 1 million pieces of top-grade essence crystals, when converted to high-grade essence crystals, was equivalent to a full 100 million pieces of high-grade essence crystals. These peak-grade essence crystals are almost finished. When Brother Danyu returns, I will give you some. Su Xingyan said with an unnatural evil smile. "How can I find Luo Ping and Qi Jiang?" Ning Yu asked. "That's easy. I will ask Hu Yan and Ni Jingzhong to go with you. They will bring you to Luo Ping and Qi Jiang." Su Xingyan said. Ning Yu seemed a little impatient. He quickly said, "There's no time to lose. Let's go now. I feel guilty taking your origin crystals without doing anything." I trust Brother Dan Yu's character. Even though he said that, Su Xingyan did not stop walking. Not long after, they left the origin crystal mine and arrived at where the Dark Emperor and the others were. Su Xingyan walked up to Hu Yan and Ni Jingzhong and whispered, "You two go with Brother Danyu. Don't show yourselves. Let Brother Danyu handle it himself." "Understood." Hu Yan and Ni Jingzhong answered in unison. "Brother Danyu, according to reliable sources, they will arrive at the Mio Wood soon." Su Xingyan said, "Get ready and wait for them at the designated location. This way, we can save a lot of effort." "No problem, but—" Ning Yu's mouth opened, but he stopped. "Brother Danyu, why don't you say it?" Su Xingyan said, "It's like this. I don't want young Master Wen to know about this." Ning Yu looked troubled. 40 million origin crystals is too much for me. Su Xingyan gave Ning Yu a knowing look and patted his chest. "Don't worry. I won't tell anyone." "That's good. I hope, brother, Su won't tell young master when about my early arrival. Ning Yu's reaction was a little exaggerated. He let out a long breath and said, Brother Su, just don't say a word about it. Ha ha ha. Ning Yu and Su Xingyan looked at each other and smiled. They did not stay for long. Ning Yu, Hu Yan, and the others left the cave through another exit. A strange smile appeared on Su Xingyan's face as he watched Ning Yu and the others leave. You're still too young. You want to get origin crystals from me? Huh? Su Xingyan laughed and waved his hand. Let's wait at the entrance. Wen Yi should be here soon. Hu Yan, do you think that kid can kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang? In the Mailan forest, 5 figures were sprinting at high speed. And I Jingzhong looked back at Ningyu and said worriedly, I heard Luo Ping had a fortuitous encounter and his strength has improved. Plus, Qi Jiang has mastered the Death Soul's vortex. He's not weak. Since Dan Yu dared to accept this mission, it means he has the confidence to kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang. Hu Yan waved his hand and said, There's only one thing we need to do. After Luo Ping and Qi Jiang are dead, we'll get rid of Dan Yu. Don't be careless. Dan Yu defeated Hong Wei in one move. He might be as strong as us. And I Jingzhong reminded. Haha, Hong Wei. Among the 4 of us, he's the weakest. Hu Yan smiled and said, You and I can easily defeat him in one move. If not for the law enforcers, we can easily kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang without Dan Yu's help. Hu Yan continued with a vicious expression. As for Dan Yu, he's just a scapegoat. Once he kills Luo Ping and Qi Jiang, it'll be his end. Is that so? As soon as Hu Yan finished speaking, a voice rang in his ears. Hu Yan's heart skipped a beat and he quickly turned around. Swoosh! 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 Behind him, 3 figures sped over. It was Ningyu, the Dark Emperor, and the Hong Mo. Surrounding Hu Yan and Anai Jingzhong, Ningyu shrugged and said, I knew you're up to no good. Let's see if you're capable of sending me to hell. You. The sudden change caused Hu Yan and Anai Jingzhong's expressions to instantly darken. They did not expect their conversation to be overheard by Ningyu. For a moment, their expressions turned ugly as they said in a deep voice, I initially wanted to let you live a little longer. Since your ears are cheap and you've heard something you shouldn't have, I can only send you to hell. Noisy! Before Hu Yan finished speaking, the Dark Emperor's eyes turned cold. He suddenly enlarged and swept his tail at Hu Yan. Swoosh! Chapter 220. Boom! The Dark Emperor had a great hatred for the corpse sect. Once he attacked, he used a killing move. After transforming into his true form, the Dark Emperor's body expanded by several times. All the hair on his body stood up, and he instantly appeared beside Hu Yan. His tail carried a strong gust of wind and swept towards Hu Yan's neck like an iron whip. Heaven devouring dog! Feeling the powerful aura coming from the Dark Emperor, Hu Yan's expression changed drastically. Death's spirit hand. At the critical moment, Hu Yan quickly formed a seal with his hand. His fingers bent, and he instantly grabbed the Dark Emperor's tail. Bang! In the next moment, a crisp sound rang out. Hu Yan felt an explosive pain in his palm and immediately retreated. How could the Dark Emperor give him the chance to escape? After the attack, a pair of purple gold wings appeared on the Dark Emperor's back. His speed increased drastically, and he blocked Hu Yan's path of retreat. Purple gold, Heaven Devouring Dog. You are the Emperor of the Heaven Devouring Dog clan. If knowing that the Dark Emperor was a heaven-devouring dog had already shocked Hu Yan, then knowing that the Dark Emperor was a purple gold heaven-devouring dog, the shock on Hu Yan's face was even more intense. Don't you think it's a little too late to find out now? The corner of his mouth curled up. The Dark Emperor's speed did not decrease. He flapped his purple gold wings and arrived in front of Hu Yan in the blink of an eye. Voila! The purple gold wings on his back quickly flapped, and in an instant 2 huge gusts of wind shot out and landed on Hu Yan's chest. Uft. After being hit by the two powerful gusts of wind, Huyen felt a sweetness in his throat and spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was pushed back several meters before he could stabilize himself. Looks like Huyen is no match for the Dark Emperor. It's only a matter of time before he loses. Ning Yu was quite confident in the Dark Emperor's strength. After transforming into his true form, the Dark Emperor's strength had at least doubled. It would not be difficult for him to defeat Huyen. Of course, the prerequisite was that Huyen did not have any abnormal trump cards. Otherwise, the Dark Emperor would not have a good ending. And Ai Jingzhong is not weak. It will be difficult for the Red Devil to defeat him. The Dark Emperor was no longer worried, so Ning Yu turned his gaze to the Red Devil's battlefield. The Red Devil was a spirit body. Although he was strong, he was restricted and could not use some of his trump cards. And Ai Jingzhong was not weaker than Qi Jiang, and was even slightly stronger than Qi Jiang. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. Because he was worried that Ai Jingzhong had a trump card like the Necromancy Vortex, Ning Yu did not hesitate and immediately brandished the Absolute Soul Sword, slashing out 3 sword waves in succession. Whoosh! 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 3 consecutive innate fiendish sword ripples formed and approached Ai Jingzhong from 3 different directions. Hong Mo, come back! With a low roar, Ning Yu swung the soul, severing sword in his hand again. In an instant, an even more powerful sword ripple was formed and blasted towards Ai Jingzhong's head at a terrifying speed. 9 purities, sword wave. At this moment, Ning Yu unleashed his trump card, the 4th stance of the 9 clear sword ripple. 9 clear sword ripple. Ai Jingzhong's expression changed drastically when he sensed the 4 sword ripples coming at him. He did not have time to think and immediately chose to flee. Ai Jingzhong knew that just the Red Devil alone was enough to make him suffer, not to mention the even more powerful Ning Yu. Moreover, each of the 4 sword ripples that Ning Yu slashed out was stronger than the last, and the might of the last sword ripple even caused him to feel slightly terrified. Where there's life, there's hope. Ai Jingzhong had this thought in his mind. However, he had clearly underestimated the speed of the 4 sword ripples. The moment he moved, the 4 sword ripples had already arrived in front of him and slashed towards his neck. Oh no! Uft! 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 Ai Jingzhong's eyes narrowed as he raised his head to look at the sword ripples that were approaching him. He quickly turned his head to the side. As he turned his head to the side in time, the 4 sword ripples did not hit Ai Jingzhong's head, but his chest instead. The immense pain from his chest caused Ai Jingzhong to spit out 4 mouthfuls of blood consecutively as his body fell heavily to the ground. Don't want. Ai Jingzhong was just about to stand up when he realized that a small red sword was expanding in front of his eyes. In the end, it pierced between his eyebrows. It was a fatal blow. It was impossible for the Red Devil to give Ai Jingzhong a chance to escape. After Ning Yu succeeded, he turned into a flying sword and gave Ai Jingzhong a fatal blow. Go help the Dark Emperor. Just as he killed Ai Jingzhong, Ning Yu turned into an afterimage and joined the Dark Emperor's battlefield. This was because Ning Yu discovered that Huyen had actually broken through during the battle and advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm. Ning Yu knew that for a genius like Huyen, every small increase in rank would greatly enhance his strength, not to mention forcibly increasing his rank by a large rank. After advancing to the early stage of the true martial realm, the Dark Emperor was no longer Huyen's match and was at a disadvantage in every aspect. Humph! Purple gold sky-devouring dog, I didn't want to advance to the true martial realm so early, but you forced me. With a cold snort, Huyen said sinisterly, In order to repay you, I've decided to eat dog meat tonight. Buzz, buzz! As his voice fell, Huyen grabbed at the air with both of his hands. Immediately, a wave of Yuan Qi light appeared in his hands and was thrown towards the Dark Emperor. The speed of the Yuan Qi light wave was extremely fast, so fast that it could not be seen with the naked eye. Swallow it! Facing the Yuan Qi light wave that was constantly attacking him, the Dark Emperor's expression was extremely gloomy. He opened his mouth wide, and a powerful suction force rushed out from his mouth, swallowing the Yuan Qi light wave in front of everyone, as expected of a heaven-devouring dog. But if you can swallow a wave of light, I don't believe that you can swallow 10 or 100 of them. The Dark Emperor's actions caused Huyen to be somewhat moved. His hands were trembling at a strange frequency. Not long after, dozens of Essence Qi light waves were formed and rushed toward the Dark Sovereign. Holy shit, run! The Dark Emperor was not a fool, so he naturally would not take on these energy waves head-on. He had not digested the energy wave that he had just swallowed, and his chest was still aching. If he swallowed dozens of problematic energy waves, it was very likely that his body would explode and he would die. Dark Tyrant Palm. Red Devil Sword Qi. However, just as the Dark Emperor was about to escape, 2 consecutive powerful attacks appeared in front of him, blocking dozens of energy waves for him. Seeing that his powerful attack was blocked, Huyen raised his eyebrows and looked to the other side. However, when he saw Enai Jingzhong lying on the ground, a terrifying light burst out from his eyes. All the veins on his body bulged, as Huyen said coldly, "Today all of you will die!" The origin energy in his sea of consciousness churned, and a hint of coldness appeared in Ningyu's eyes. He had never expected that Huyen would break through to the early stage of the true martial realm during the battle. His thoughts were very simple. When he left the cave, he would find an opportunity to kill Huyen and Enai Jingzhong. Although Enai Jingzhong was killed, Huyen had broken through to the early stage of the true martial realm. It could be said that even if Ningyu and the other 2 joined forces, they might not be able to kill Huyen, who was at the early stage of the true martial realm. Chapter 221. The half-step origin core realm Spectre Corpse was Ningyu's trump card. He would not use it unless it was absolutely necessary. If Huyen had not advanced to the true martial realm, Ningyu would not have taken out the Spectre Corpse no matter what. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. Since he had decided to take out the Spectre Corpse, Ningyu simply took out the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse as well. Swoosh! Swoosh! With a flick of his wrist, 2 storage pouches filled with millions of high-grade origin crystals appeared in Ningyu's hands. He then forcefully inserted them into the brains of the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse and the Spectre Corpse. Every time the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse and the Spectre Corpse were used, they consumed a large amount of energy. If Ningyu had not obtained 20 million high-grade origin crystals from Su Xingyan, taking out 2 million at once would have been painful for a long time. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, Spectre Corpse, I'm afraid no one will believe you if you say you're not from the Corpse sect. Watching Ningyu insert the high-grade origin crystals into the brains of the 2 corpses, Huyen did not stop him. Instead, he said with interest, "Now I'm somewhat looking forward to finding out your true identity." "My true identity is not something you deserve to know." The moment the word Tao fell, the origin Qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness gushed out and gathered on the soul-breaking sword. Whoosh! The phantom armor appeared on his body, and Ningyu raised his speed to the limit. Wherever he passed, the soul-breaking sword even cut the air in half. Insignificant skill. Facing such a powerful attack from Ningyu, Huyen did not take it seriously at all. Instead, he casually threw out a palm strike that collided with the soul-breaking sword. Qi. Huyan's palm strike contained extremely violent origin Qi fluctuations. It exploded almost at the instant of contact with the soul-breaking sword. The powerful aftermath caused Ningyu's pupils to shrink. If it was not for his speed, he would have been bombarded by the aftermath. I can't face it head-on. In just a short moment of exchange, Ningyu had already determined Huyan's true strength. It was infinitely close to the origin core realm. Although there was still a gap from the origin core realm, it was not much. Roar! Roar! In the next moment, the dark gold spirit corpse and the specter corpse roared and attacked Hu Yen from two different directions, courting death. After forcing Ningyu back with a single strike, the coldness in Hu Yan's eyes intensified. Instead of retreating, he advanced, punching the dark gold spirit corpse with his right fist and the spirit corpse with his left. Bang! Hu Yen, who was in the early stage of the true martial realm, was really not just for show. Just as his right fist came in contact with the dark gold spirit corpse, the dark gold spirit corpse was like a kite with a broken string and was blasted several zhang away. He a mere half-step origin core stage dark gold spirit corpse. What can it do to me? After forcing back the dark gold spirit corpse, the corners of Hu Yan's mouth curled up, and he was just about to ridicule when his pupils constricted. That was because the ghost corpse's body actually erupted with a huge suction force, sucking in his left fist. A good chance. Dark Emperor, Red Devil, attack with all your might. The sudden change caused Ningyu to be overjoyed, and he hurriedly swung the severing soul sword to repeatedly slash out a few 9 clarity sword ripples. Furthermore, his peak 4th grade soul force coiled around his palm, and he executed the Dark Dominator palm without any regard for his life. As for the Dark Emperor and Red Devil, they both displayed their own trump cards. At this moment, numerous powerful attacks blasted towards Hu Yen from different directions. Damn it! Damn it! All of you must die today. At the critical moment, a powerful energy suddenly erupted from Hu Yan's body, rushing out from his left hand and blasting the ghost corpse several zhang away. After blasting the ghost corpse away, Hu Yen flicked his sleeve, and a transparent white crystal ball instantly appeared in his hand. Pushing the white crystal ball forward, Hu Yen shouted in a low voice, "Explode!" Rumble. As Hu Yan's low cry rang out, an earth-shattering explosion resounded throughout this region. Swish! Subsequently, Hu Yen forcefully swallowed the sweet blood in his throat and ran. Chase! No matter what, we can't let him escape. With an extremely gloomy expression, Ningyu didn't even hesitate to burn his soul force to chase after Hu Yen. Hu Yen was running towards the cave. If he was allowed to escape, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, even if he had to pay a painful price, Ningyu had to kill Hu Yen. What's going on? At the same time, at the entrance of the cave, Su Xingyan could not help but furrow his brows when he heard the loud explosion. There should be people fighting. A man in his 30s beside Su Xingyan frowned and said, "From the explosion, we can determine that the people fighting are not weak. They should have the strength of a half-step Yuandan. Hee, Brother Wen, let's go in and talk. As for who is fighting, it has nothing to do with us." Su Xingyan smiled and said, actually, in Su Xingyan's heart, he could already determine that Hu Yen and the rest had made a move. However, Su Xingyan was a little doubtful. Was Ningyu really that strong? In such a short period of time, he had gotten rid of Luo Ping and Qi Jiang? Because he had told Hu Yen that he could only wait for Ningyu to kill Luo Ping and Qi Jiang before making his move. He must not expose his intentions. After all, Ningyu was Wen Yi's man. Letting Wen Yi know that he was plotting against his men was not a joke. At least, before he advanced to the true martial realm, he was definitely not Wen Yi's opponent. All right, I have already prepared the exquisite fruit. As long as you have the nether spirit pill, we can trade at any time. Wen Yi nodded his head and walked into the cave. After pondering for a moment, Su Xingyan was still a little worried. He gave Hong Wei a meaningful glance and immediately entered the cave. Hong Wei understood and did not follow them into the cave. Instead, he brought along a dozen peak true martial realm martial artists and changed their direction, flying towards the direction of the explosion. Puchi! Inside the hidden forest, Hu Yen was surrounded by Ningyu and the rest. Although Hu Yen was strong and had advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, advancing to the early stage of the true martial realm had harmed him. Because he had advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm in a hurry, Huyen did not have the time to stabilize his cultivation, causing the true qi in his body to be more impetuous. The impetuous true qi, coupled with Huyen's impatience to return to the cave, caused the anxiety to attack his heart, causing his speed to slow down. Huyen's speed had slowed down, but Ningyu and the rest did not slow down at all. After running for more than 10 minutes, Huyen was caught up. Looking at the 3 figures surrounding him, Huyen's complexion instantly sank to the bottom of the valley. If he was still in his peak state, he naturally would not be afraid to deal with Ningyu and the rest, but now he was no longer in his peak state. His strength was only half of his peak state. With this state and strength, it was impossible for him to win. I hope Su Xingyan can come and save me as soon as possible. Huyen knew that if he wanted to live, there was only one possibility, and that was for Su Xingyan to come and save him. He knew that the explosion of the white crystal ball had definitely attracted Su Xingyan's attention. Go. It was impossible for Ningyu to give Huyen a chance. He let out a low shout, and immediately a blue flame appeared on his fingertips. His palm brought along a berserk true qi wind and ruthlessly smashed towards Huyen's chest. Puchi! How could Huyen, whose strength had been reduced by half, block such a powerful blow from Ningyu? In the next moment, Ningyu's fist gradually expanded in Huyen's pupils and finally, without any deviation, smashed onto Huyen's face. The huge force that came from his face caused Huyen to spit out a mouthful of dark red blood, and his complexion became somewhat pale. Die. Not good. However, just as Ningyu gathered true qi on his palm, wanting to kill Huyen with one blow, his complexion changed. He hurriedly retreated a few steps and stood side by side with the Dark Emperor Red Devil. Walala. Chapter 222. Huyen. At the front of the group was a young man in his 20s, with a cultivation of Xiantian full cycle. Hong Wei. This young man in Xiantian full cycle was none other than Hong Wei, who had lost to Ningyu in a single move in the cave. Seeing Huyen in the middle, Hong Wei shouted, "What the hell is going on? Hong Wei, where's Su Xingyan? Why isn't he here? Why isn't he here?" The moment he saw Hong Wei and the others, Huyen was happy because he thought he could be saved. However, after his eyes swept across the crowd, Huyen's heart sank because he did not see Su Xingyan in the crowd, only Hong Wei and a dozen martial artists at the peak of true martial realm. To deal with them, what use would Hong Wei be? Huyen, have you lost your mind? Su Xingyan is trading with 1E. Why did you call him here? Hong Wei clearly did not understand the situation. He was a little dazed and doubtfully asked. He, let me tell you the reason. With a slight smile, Ningyu took a step forward and said, If Su Xingyan does not come, you will all die today. All die? With his eyes wide open, Hong Wei stared at Ningyu and said, Huyen has lost his mind. Are you also crazy? You want to kill us? No. Suddenly, Hong Wei seemed to have thought of something. He quickly turned his eyes to Huyen. True martial realm, early stage. Feeling the powerful aura coming from Huyen, Hong Wei's face became extremely ugly. The 4 of them had discussed before no one could advance to true martial realm early. They had to eat the exquisite fruit together, expand the cyclone, and then advance to true martial realm. Why did Huyen advance to true martial realm early? There must be something fishy about this. In addition, Hong Wei did not see an Ai Jingzhong here. He seemed to instantly understand, his heart sinking together with Huyen. Dan Yue, you killed an Ai Jingzhong. With a gloomy face, Hong Wei shouted in a deep voice. Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu declined to comment and said indifferently, I have a few questions to ask you. If you answer them honestly, I can consider leaving your corpse intact. Humph. Want to kill me? It won't be that easy. With a cold snort, Hong Wei immediately turned his head and rushed in the direction of the cave. At the same time, more than a dozen other martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm also ran away. Hong Wei, You will die a horrible death." Hu Yan's expression changed greatly when he saw that Hong Wei had given up on him, and he roared furiously. "Chi!" However, just as Hu Yan's voice faded, he saw Ning Yu standing in front of him with an emotionless expression. Lowering his head to look at the flying sword at his heart, Hu Yan opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but with a plop he fell to the ground. At this moment, Hu Yan, who had just advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, was killed by Ning Yu with a single sword strike. "Chase them. Leave no one alive." After killing Hu Yan with a single strike, Ning Yu didn't stop at all. His figure flashed as he chased after Hong Wei. The Dark Emperor and the Red Devil were not idle either. Instead, they chased after the other dozen or so martial artists at the peak of true martial realm. Compared to Hu Yan, Hong Wei was much weaker in both strength and speed. In just a moment, Ning Yu caught up to him. "Dan Yu, aren't you afraid of the corpse sect's revenge?" Since Ning Yu had caught up to him, Hong Wei simply stopped. He planned to stabilize Ning Yu first before waiting for an opportunity to escape. "Thank you for your reminder. As long as no one is left alive, the corpse sect won't be able to find me," Ning Yu said indifferently, "and I Jingzhong and Hu Yan are already on their way. Now you're the only one left. By the way, Luo Ping and Qi Jiang have also been killed." After thinking for a moment, Ning Yu continued, "You don't have to worry about being lonely after death." Swoosh! In the next instant, Ning Yu rose from the ground, and the absolute soul sword in his hand slashed at Hong Wei's neck. Although Hong Wei was weaker than Hu Yan, that was relative. In fact, Hong Wei's strength was comparable to Qi Jiang's. However, it was comparable to Qi Jiang without the Death Soul Vortex. Once Qi Jiang used the Death Soul Vortex, Hong Wei would only be killed. Dark Tyrant Palm. Just as the Absolute Soul Sword was about to pierce Hong Wei, Ning Yu's left hand formed a seal, and in an instant, a tangible palm print blasted toward Hong Wei's abdomen from the side. Facing two powerful attacks in a row, Hong Wei lost his composure for a moment and ignored his tail. In the blink of an eye, Hong Wei chose to block the Absolute Soul Sword. After all, the violent Yuan Qi fluctuation on the Absolute Soul Sword made his heart tremble. Pa! After blocking the Absolute Soul Sword, Hong Wei was naturally hit by the Dark Tyrant Palm. The huge pain from his abdomen almost made Hong Wei grimace. "I thought your palm was very powerful, so it turned out to be a silver spear wax head. Impressive, but it didn't hit." Pucci! Being hit in the abdomen only caused pain to Hong Wei. He didn't feel a fatal threat. However, just as the mocking words reached his mouth, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. A trembling feeling came from the depths of his soul, causing Hong Wei's face to distort and beads of sweat to appear on his forehead. Soul Attack Palm Print. This palm of yours is a Soul Attack Palm Print. Hong Wei finally understood. It turned out that Ning Yu wasn't a silver spear wax head, but a real talent. It's too late to realize it now. As his voice fell, Ning Yu's eyes turned cold. The phantom armor appeared on his body, and he dashed forward again. This time, Ning Yu didn't hold back. The Absolute Soul Sword accurately stabbed into Hong Wei's heart. Just like when he killed Hu Yan, the same sword stabbed into the heart and killed him in one blow. After killing Hong Wei, Ning Yu didn't have time to search his body. He immediately changed his direction and chased after the other peak true realm martial artists. Chi Chi Chi. In the hidden forest, more than a dozen peak true martial realm corpse sect experts fled like frightened birds. Behind them, the Dark Emperor, the Red Devil, and Ning Yu were like death reapers from hell. Every time they made a move, a peak true martial realm corpse sect martial artist would die. Chi Chi, a peak true realm martial artist, might be a powerful force in the great Xia Kingdom, but in the hands of Ning Yu and the Dark Emperor, their strength was still lacking. It had to be known that the combat strength of Ning Yu and the others was already comparable to a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Dark gold spirit corpse, ghost corpse. Because he was afraid that these peak true martial realm corpse sect martial artists would escape. Ningyu had no choice but to summon the dark gold spirit corpse and ghost corpse. Ningyu divided the more than 900,000 high-grade yuan crystals he had on him into 2 portions and stuffed them into the brains of the 2 corpses to provide them with enough power. With the addition of the 2 corpses, it didn't take long for the peak true martial realm corpse sect martial artists to be completely annihilated. After successfully killing these martial artists, the Dark Emperor lay on the ground with his tongue hanging out, gasping for breath. I'm so tired. These bastards can really run. If it wasn't for my strength, I'm afraid a few of them would have escaped. While devouring the high-grade yuan crystals, the Dark Emperor didn't forget to praise himself. Dark Emperor, we can't rest here. Chapter 223. What's there to be afraid of? With me around, even if that's Su Xingyan or when he comes, there's no need to be afraid. The Dark Emperor waved his hand arrogantly. If 1 comes, I'll fight 1. If 2 come, I'll fight a pair. Rolling his eyes, Ningyu said in disdain, Forget it. Hong Mo and I will leave first. If you don't leave, don't blame me if Su Xingyan and the others kill you. Swoosh, swoosh. Saying so, Ningyu and Hong Mo flashed and flew into the distance. Humph! With me around, they won't dare to come. The Dark Emperor snorted and said in high spirits. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a strong gust of wind blew past, causing his hair to stand on end. Hiss! Shivering uncontrollably, the Dark Emperor rose from the ground and chased after Ningyu and Hong Mo. Wait for me! You can't be so disloyal! In the Mio Woods, 3 figures were sprinting. After flying at full speed for 15 minutes, Ningyu and the others finally stopped at the edge of the Mio Woods. Dark Emperor, check if this place is safe. In this place, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. He quickly released his soul perception to check the surroundings. What danger can there be? I'm not doing it. I want to rest. Twitching his lips, the Dark Emperor sprawled on the ground lazily, clearly still angry at Ningyu for leaving without saying goodbye. Using his soul power, Ningyu took out a storage bag from his storage ring and said, There are 5 million high-grade origin crystals in here. I was planning to give it to someone for cultivation, but it seems like there's no need. Swoosh! Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor leaped up and snatched the storage bag away. Why didn't you take out the high-grade origin crystals earlier? With these 5 million high-grade origin crystals, I can even make a breakthrough to the half-step origin core realm. The Dark Emperor grabbed the storage bag tightly and grumbled. Half-step origin core realm. Ignoring the complaints of the Dark Emperor, Ningyu's eyes widened as he asked, Can you really reach half-step primal core realm? Raising his head, the Dark Emperor said proudly, I forgot to tell you, the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan has a unique trait, and that is ton. As long as you have sufficient energy, even if you advance to the origin core realm, there's nothing strange about it. How many high-grade essence crystals are needed to advance to the Yuan Dan stage? Ningyu asked in a deep voice. The Dark Emperor was taken aback for a moment before realizing that he had gone overboard with his bragging, and he felt a little awkward. The Heaven-Devouring Hound race did indeed have the ability to devour all things, but that was only after they had awakened their bloodline. For example, a Heaven-Devouring Hound like the Dark Emperor, who had yet to awaken his bloodline, could only advance a small level by relying on devouring alone. It was basically impossible for him to advance 2 levels consecutively, which was also to say that no matter how many essence crystals were given to the Dark Emperor now, it was impossible for him to advance to the Yuan Dan realm. Advancing from the half-step Yuan Dan stage to the Yuan Dan stage required a buffer period. Ningyu, can you give me 5 million high-grade essence crystals? At the side, the red devil gritted his teeth and said, "You also want 5 million high-grade essence crystals." Ningyu was taken aback and asked doubtfully, "You are a spirit body. Why do you need high-grade essence crystals?" The increase in the strength of a spirit body mainly depended on the level of the body. As long as the level of the body increased, the strength of the spirit body would naturally become stronger. Ningyu had never heard of a spirit body devouring essence crystals before. Could it be that the red devil was a special one? "I don't want high-grade essence crystals to devour." Shaking his head, the red devil said, "With 5 million high-grade essence crystals, I can open up a small gap in the 7-star formation and obtain some contact with the main body." "Are you sure that 5 million high-grade essence crystals can open up a gap in the 7-star formation?" Frowning slightly, Ningyu said solemnly, "Opening up a gap in the 7-star formation?" This was no laughing matter. The slightest carelessness would trigger the killing formation in the 7-star formation, and all would be for naught. "Don't worry, I have been trapped in the pendant for so many years, and I have already figured out some of the tricks of the 7-star formation." The red devil seemed to have made a great decision and said, "As long as you give me 5 million high-grade essence crystals, regardless of whether I can open up a gap in the 7-star formation this time, I will remember your kindness." "Remember my ass." Ningyu was somewhat speechless. As long as the attack on the 7-star formation failed, the red devil would definitely be destroyed along with the main body inside. At that time, what use would it be for him to remember his kindness? "This is an opportunity. I want to give it a try." The red devil's expression was solemn as he said solemnly. Looking at the red devil, Ningyu seemed to see himself in his previous life. Once he made up his mind, he would never look back. Regardless of whether it was a flat ground or a bumpy road, he would charge forward courageously. Even if he failed in the end, he would not regret it. At least, he would not let down the faith in his heart. "I will give you 10 million high-grade essence crystals." After thinking about it, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and threw a storage bag to the red devil. Inside the storage bag, there were 10 million high-grade essence crystals. Swoosh! At the same time, Ningyu took out the semicircular blue pendant and let it float above his head. Looking at the blue pendant, the red devil said, "When I attack the 7-star formation later, it might cause a huge impact. Enter the storage ring." Since he had decided to help the red devil, Ningyu went all out. With a thought, he kept the blue pendant into the storage ring. Swoosh! Without hesitation, the red devil turned into a red afterimage and followed the pendant into the storage ring. "Dark Emperor, hurry up and check if there is anyone in the surroundings." After the red devil disappeared, Ningyu kicked the Dark Emperor's butt and said angrily, "Otherwise, return me the 5 million high-grade essence crystals." Swish! The Dark Emperor jumped up, and while releasing his perception, he muttered, "Didn't I just take your 5 million high-grade essence crystals? What's so great about it?" After a while, the Dark Emperor patted his chest and said, "Don't worry, there's not a single person within a radius of more than 10 kilometers. It is absolutely safe here. Furthermore, I left behind some perception. Even if a bird were to approach here, I would be able to sense it. If there's nothing else, don't call me. I want to cultivate properly." Saying that, the Dark Emperor found a huge tree, hollowed it out, and entered. Shaking his head helplessly, Ningyu also sat down cross-legged and took out the remaining 5 million high-grade essence crystals. "I have to raise my strength as soon as possible." Ningyu was very clear about the current situation. Su Xingyan already knew his identity, so Su Xingyan had to die, and Su Xingyan was very strong. At the very least, the current Ningyu was not his match. With 5 million high-grade essence crystals, although he would not be able to break through to the true martial realm in a short period of time, Ningyu was confident that he could split the cyclone again. "Right now I have 13 cyclones. If I can break through to 15 cyclones, my strength will increase further." Before obtaining the exquisite fruit, Ning Yu did not expect to be able to split the cyclones into 16, but he was determined to obtain 15 cyclones. If the cyclones were to split into 15, the amount of essence in his cyclones would increase further, and he would even be able to cultivate the fifth form of the supreme nine purities sword art. Chapter 224. Spirit Transformation Technique. Although Ning Yu wanted to split the cyclones into 15 as soon as possible, he knew very well that he had to reach the fourth stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique before that. Ever since he split the cyclones into 13, Ning Yu could feel that the speed at which he absorbed Yuan Qi could no longer keep up with his pace. Relying on the third stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique, he would need at least 20 hours to fill up all 13 cyclones. 20 hours was obviously not something that Ning Yu could wait for. After going over the fourth stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique in his mind, Ning Yu started to cultivate. Although his soul force had reached the peak of fourth grade, Ning Yu still felt that it was a little difficult to cultivate the fourth stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique. Each stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique became more profound and difficult to cultivate. If it wasn't for Ning Yu's experience from his past life, he would need at least 10 days to cultivate the fourth stage. With the experience from his past life, Ning Yu's speed of cultivating the fourth stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique was obviously much faster. In half an hour, Ning Yu had reached the entry stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique. In 2 hours, Ning Yu had reached initial success in cultivating the Spirit Transformation Technique. Phew! For hours later, Ning Yu let out a long breath. At this moment, the fourth stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique was successfully cultivated. After successfully cultivating the fourth stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique, Ning Yu did not have the slightest hesitation. He immediately took out a high-grade yuan crystal and threw it into his mouth. Crack! Crack! As the sound of high-grade essence crystals shattering continued to ring, Ning Yu's eyes burst out unabashedly. Bang! 15 minutes later, feeling that all 13 cyclones were filled, Ning Yu's face lit up. The fourth stage of the Spirit Transformation Technique is really something. The speed at which I absorb Yuan Qi has increased by several times. It's time to break through to 15 cyclones. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu operated the Spirit Transformation art to the extreme. A steady stream of essence, Qi flowed into his sea of consciousness through the Spirit Transformation art. Ning Yu did not blindly choose the cyclones he wanted to split. Instead, he chose the 2 largest cyclones and injected his essence into them. Buzz! With the injection of primal Qi, the 2 cyclones actually began to sway. Not good. The vortex shook, which greatly exceeded Ning Yu's expectations. Originally, according to his speculation, when the cyclone expanded to a certain extent, it would explode. Then he could use his soul power to suppress the cyclone in the instant of the explosion, causing the 2 cyclones to completely separate. The current situation had already deviated. This was something he had never expected. Soul power, go in! Helpless, Ning Yu could only first insert his soul power into the cyclone, forcefully stabilizing it. Xiao! At this moment, a cold light suddenly shot out from another cyclone and rushed into the expanding cyclone. Indigo, spiritual fire! Ning Yu was stunned when he saw the cold light. However, when he saw the true appearance of the cold light, his expression changed drastically. The indigo spiritual fire had already dominated one of his cyclones. Now, it wouldn't dominate 2 cyclones, right? Swoosh! Swoosh! What happened next caused Ning Yu to be dumbfounded. He saw the cold light of the indigo spiritual fire split into 2 and entered the 2 cyclones. Bang! Bang! However, just as Ning Yu's soul power was about to come into contact with the indigo spiritual fire, 2 muffled sounds came from his sea of consciousness. causing him to be stunned on the spot. The cyclones that he had spent so much effort to split actually succeeded with the help of the indigo spiritual fire? Isn't this 2F** king ridiculous? Actually, anyone who encountered such a situation would be dumbfounded. It was already very impressive that Ning Yu could remain so calm. Should I continue to split the cyclones? At this moment, an idea popped up in Ning Yu's mind. Why not use this opportunity to split the cyclones into 16? Furthermore, according to the situation, it was even possible to surpass the limit of the innate cyclones and split the cyclones into 25. After a moment, Ningyu gave up on this bold idea. Only some primordial savages would dare to split the cyclones into 25 in the innate realm. Since he had decided to give up on splitting the cyclones, Ningyu shook his wrist and took out the Absolute Soul Sword. In his mind, he recalled the cultivation method of the Absolute Sword Wave, the fifth move of the Supreme Nine Purities sword art. Then, Ningyu began to cultivate. The Absolute Sword Wave had even higher requirements for Essence Chi. If the Nine Purities sword wave required the essence within one cyclone, then the Absolute Sword Wave would require at least 2 cyclones. In other words, with 15 cyclones, Ningyu could at most cast the Absolute Sword Wave 7 times. If he couldn't kill the enemy with the Absolute Sword Wave 7 times, the essence in his sea of consciousness would be exhausted. Of course, the Absolute Sword Wave was even more difficult to cultivate than the Nine Purities Sword Wave. However, compared to when he was cultivating the Nine Purities Sword Wave, Ningyu's soul force had already advanced to the peak of the 4th grade, so he was confident that he could successfully cultivate the Absolute Sword Wave. While Ningyu was cultivating the Absolute Sword Wave, the Dark Emperor was lying on the ground like a dead dog with a bulging stomach. With 5 million high-grade essence crystals, the Dark Emperor didn't care about anything else and directly transformed into his original body, swallowing it along with the storage bag into his stomach. Only the Emperor of the Heaven-Swallowing Dog clan, the Purple Gold Heaven-Swallowing Dog, would dare to do such a suicidal act. One had to know that the energy contained in 5 million high-grade essence crystals, if it were to explode in an instant, even a Yuan Dan realm martial artist would not dare to face it head-on. And the Dark Emperor was only at the peak of the true martial realm, yet he dared to swallow it. Just this courage alone was enough to make others look at him in a new light. However, the Dark Emperor's digestion speed was too fast. Every minute, his stomach would shrink a little. In the end, it even returned to normal. Burp. After his stomach returned to normal, the Dark Emperor burped and crawled up from the ground. Half-step Yuan Dan realm, not bad, not bad. Feeling the aura emitted from his body, the Dark Emperor nodded his head in satisfaction. At this moment, he had advanced to the half-step Yuan Dan realm. However, the undigested high-grade essence crystals in his stomach were enough for him to digest for a very long time. Before he completely digested the high-grade essence crystals in his stomach, he did not have any desire to devour anything else. It was really like eating a full meal and not being hungry for 3 days. Swish! At this moment, a cold light rushed out from Ningyu's body and landed beside the Dark Emperor. Red skin, how did you become so strong? The moment he saw the Red Devil, the Dark Emperor's eyes widened and his face was filled with disbelief. Initially, he thought that by advancing to the half-step Yuan Dan realm, he would be able to suppress Ningyu and the Red Devil. But from the looks of it, the Red Devil was on par with him. Chi-chi. Suddenly, a shocking sword wave formed in the air, and after slight friction with the air, it disappeared. SSS. Although this sword wave only appeared for a moment before disappearing, it still left a very deep impression in the Dark Emperor's heart. His mouth opened, and he was speechless. Ningyu, your strength has also become so strong? Looking at the sword wave dissipating in the air, Ningyu nodded his head in satisfaction. Sweeping his gaze across the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil, Ningyu said, Your strength has also increased qualitatively. Of course, don't you know who I am? the Emperor of the Heaven Swallowing Hound clan, the purple gold heaven swallowing hound. Raising his head, the Dark Emperor's purple gold wings appeared behind him, and he floated in midair. If Su Xingyan dares to come now, I can kill him myself. Chapter 225. Is that so? When this voice resounded in the area, Ning Yu's face instantly darkened. He was very familiar with the owner of this voice, Russell. In the next moment, several figures approached from afar and landed in front of Ning Yu in the blink of an eye. TSK Tisk, it's actually the purple gold sky devouring dog. The young man in front looked at the Dark Emperor floating in the air, smacked his lips, and said with a smile, "Although you have advanced to the half-step Yuan Dan stage, it will be difficult for you to kill me with your strength. Su Xingyan, your cultivation is not at the peak Xiantian stage." When everyone appeared, Ning Yu's gaze fell on Su Xingyan because he discovered that Su Xingyan's cultivation was not at the peak Xiantian stage, but at the initial true martial realm. In other words, it was very likely that Su Xingyan had devoured the exquisite fruit and advanced to the initial true martial realm. Moreover, there were 4 half-step Yuan Dan stage experts behind Su Xingyan, 2 elders from the corpse sect and 2 spectral corpses. Of course my cultivation is not at the peak Xiantian stage. With a faint smile, Su Xingyan slowly closed his eyes, as if he was reminiscing. A moment later, he opened his eyes and said, "The exquisite fruit is indeed a grade 7 fruit. Not only did it double the size of my cyclone, it also allowed me to smoothly advance to the initial true martial realm." In fact, Su Xingyan had already completed the transaction with E4 Netherworld pills in exchange for 4 exquisite fruits 4 hours ago. After the transaction, when E left the Mio Woods and returned to the capital. As for Su Xingyan, he had devoured the exquisite fruit and relied on top-grade Yuan crystals to advance from the peak Xiantian stage to the initial true martial realm. Originally, Su Xingyan planned to wait for the good news from Huyen and the others in the cave, but the earth-shattering explosion made him feel a little uneasy. In the end, he decided to personally take a look. Su Xingyan finally found this place after searching for 4 to 6 hours in the Mio Woods. "Su Xingyan, it seems like you know everything." With a grave expression, Ningyu said in a deep voice, "Your 3 brothers died in my hands. It's not a big deal to kill those trash." Su Xingyan obviously did not care about the deaths of Huyen and the others. He waved his hand and said, "I should be thanking you for saving me 3 exquisite fruits." Speaking up to here, Su Xingyan's tone suddenly changed, and he gloomily said, "However, they are still people from the corpse sect. I have to avenge them. Go ahead and commit suicide. I can leave your corpse intact. Brat, don't think that just because you've advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, you're awesome. I'm a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist." Towards Su Xingyan's arrogance, the Dark Emperor could not stand it any longer and said angrily, "Furthermore, there are 3 of us and only 1 of you. Damn dog, are we not human?" The 2 elders behind Su Xingyan were very unhappy. They took a step forward and said darkly, "You can't be counted as 3 people. At best, you can only be counted as 2.5 people, because you are a dog." Roar. The old man's words had clearly angered the Dark Sovereign. He flapped his violet gold wings and instantly arrived before an elder. His huge tail swept towards the elder's head, creating gusts of wind. Whoosh whoosh. After advancing to the half-step Yuan Dan realm, the Dark Emperor's strength had increased by more than just a little. With a sweep of his tail, the surrounding air chose to avoid it. The current Dark Emperor could even contend against an ordinary Yuan Dan realm martial artist. However, he had clearly hit a nail. These 2 half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artists of the corpse sect were not much weaker than the Dark Emperor. Coupled with the fact that each of them had a ghost corpse, the Dark Emperor was at a disadvantage the moment he clashed with them. "Let me help you." At this moment, a cold glint flashed in the Red Devil's eyes. His sleeves fluttered, and he instantly joined the battlefield, helping the Dark Emperor block an old man. Although 5 million high-grade origin crystals were not enough to break the 7-star array, they had blasted a small hole in the 7-star array, allowing the Red Devil to establish some contact with his main body. Originally, the Red Devil's strength was comparable to a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Now, it had increased by a lot and was close to the Yuan Dan realm. Ha ha ha, you dare to provoke me? Today next year will be the anniversary of your death. With the help of the Red Devil, the pressure on the Dark Emperor was greatly reduced. With a loud laugh, he charged at one of the old men. Although Shao Chun was not a match for the 4 Dark Monarchs, he could at least hold his ground against 2 of them and not be at a disadvantage. After establishing some contact with his main body, the Red Devil's strength was slightly stronger than the half-step Yuan Dan realm old man. Even if he faced the old man and the ghost corpse, the Red Devil could still contend against them. While the battle was going on, Su Xingyan remained calm and said with a smile, Dan Yu, your talent and strength are both very strong. I'll give you a chance to live. If you follow me, I can even give you an exquisite fruit. Follow you? Ningyu raised his eyebrows and said calmly, You really want to give me an exquisite fruit? Seeing that Ningyu was somewhat tempted, Su Xingyan flicked his sleeve and a jade bottle filled with black liquid appeared in his hand. As long as you swallow it, not to mention an exquisite fruit, even if you want to advance to the true martial realm, I can help you. Heart-devouring liquid. The moment he saw the jade bottle, Ning Yu's heart skipped a beat, because he knew what the black liquid inside the jade bottle was. The heart-devouring liquid was a liquid specially developed by the corpse sect. If an ordinary martial artist swallowed the heart-devouring liquid, they would have to take an antidote every month, otherwise they would bleed from their 7 orifices and die. Although he knew that the bottle contained the heart-devouring liquid, Ning Yu did not show it on his face. Instead, he asked, What liquid is inside? Don't worry, this liquid is not harmful to you. Su Xingyan shook the jade bottle in his hand and said, Everyone in the corpse sect has taken it. It is only a symbol of identity. Only by swallowing it can you prove that you are a member of the corpse sect. Is that so? Ning Yu thoughtfully nodded his head and said, If that is the case, it is not impossible for me to swallow it. However, I want to see the exquisite fruit. Ning Yu continued. Su Xingyan took out a silver transparent box from his bosom. Inside the box were 3 fiery red fruits. Su Xingyan smiled and said, As long as you take this bottle of liquid, I can give you an exquisite fruit. Give me the bottle. Ning Yu said, Here you go. Su Xingyan threw the bottle containing the heart-devouring liquid toward Ning Yu. The moment he threw the bottle, Su Xingyan's lips curled into an unnatural arc. An evil smile appeared on his face. Brat, you are still too young. Su Xingyan smiled evilly and said, This is the latest heart-devouring liquid developed by the corpse sect. Its medicinal effect has been developed, and it is not only effective after taking. What? Before Su Xingyan's laughter finished, a crisp sound entered his ears, causing his eyes to widen. Kacha! Chapter 226. You. Seeing the jade bottle shattered by Ningyu, Su Xingyan's face turned ugly. He felt like he had been tricked. He had painstakingly argued with Ningyu for so long in order to control Ningyu. Who would have thought in the end it was all for naught? His plan had long been seen through by Ningyu. Originally, I wanted to let you live. Since you are looking for death, don't blame me. As his voice fell, Su Xingyan's eyes flickered with coldness. His aura was released, peak of the early stage of the true martial realm. Although he had just advanced to the true martial realm, Su Xingyan's aura had reached the peak of the early stage of the true martial realm. He was only a step away from the middle stage of the true martial realm. For a genius like Su Xingyan, there was only a thin membrane between the early stage and the middle stage of the true martial realm. If he wanted to, he could break through to the middle stage of the true martial realm. After all, their accumulation had long reached the middle stage of the true martial realm. Crash! Facing the powerful aura from Su Xingyan, Ning Yu did not panic. Instead, the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness surged and surged around his body. In terms of the intensity of Yuan Qi, Su Xingyan could not possibly have the upper hand. Su Xingyan only had 5 or 6 Qi whirlpools at most. In Ning Yu's sea of consciousness, there were a total of 15 Qi whirlpools. Overlord Fist. Sensing that Ning Yu's aura was not any weaker than his, Su Xingyan let out a low roar and charged towards Ning Yu. At the same time, he crossed his fists in front of him, bringing along a whistling wind. Ning Yu did not dare to be negligent. He slightly bent his legs, gathered the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness on his fists, and collided with Su Xingyan's fists. Bang! For fists collided, and a crisp sound burst out. Then, Ning Yu hurriedly summoned the phantom armor and quickly retreated. Swoosh! Seeing Ning Yu retreat, Su Xingyan revealed an evil smile. Yuan Qi wrapped around his legs, and in a split second, he raised his speed to the limit and chased after Ning Yu. Through the exchange just now, Su Xingyan roughly judged some of Ning Yu's strength. In terms of the strength of Yuan Qi, the two were on par. However, he had the advantage of his cultivation level. In this aspect, he could crush Ning Yu. Therefore, Su Xingyan chased after Ning Yu without hesitation. Sha! However, as time passed, Su Xingyan's expression became uglier and uglier. In the end, it even turned ashen, because as long as he sped up, Ning Yu would speed up. If he slowed down, Ning Yu would also slow down. 10 minutes had passed, and the distance between him and Ning Yu had not decreased at all. Instead, it seemed to be widening. Brett, do you only know how to run? Su Xingyan loudly berated. If you have the ability, stop, and we will fight to the death. Ning Yu did not take Su Xingyan's scolding to heart. He was not running away, but preparing to deal a fatal blow. Dealing with a peerless genius like Su Xingyan, he must achieve a one-hit kill. He could not give him any chance. Wanting to kill in one hit, he first had to make Su Xingyan's state of mind unsteady and become impetuous. Good, very good. You run, continue running. I'll go kill that dog right now. Since he could not catch up to Ning Yu, Su Xingyan might as well give up. He turned around and sped towards the Dark Emperor's battlefield. Damn it! Underworld Dominator Palm. Su Xingyan's actions clearly made Ning Yu's expression change somewhat. Cursing inwardly, Ning Yu hurriedly wrapped his soul force around his palm and pushed out a palm print with a backhand. TSK. A huge, tangible palm print appeared in midair, transforming into a palm, and rumbled towards Su Xingyan. Soul attack skill. The instant the palm print blasted out, Su Xingyan's eyes widened, revealing a shocked expression. Actually, it was no wonder that Su Xingyan was shocked. After all, soul attack skills were relatively rare. Even though he was ranked 8th in the Ghost Talent Hall, he did not cultivate soul attack skills. Moreover, from the palm print, Su Xingyan could vaguely determine the strength of Ning Yu's soul force. Peak of Grade 4. Ning Yu's soul force had actually reached the peak of Grade 4. This made Su Xingyan very shocked. Corpsine energy. In the next moment, Su Xingyan flicked his sleeve, and a black jade bottle was thrown out to meet the dark, dominating palm. Explode! As Su Xingyan bellowed, the black jade bottle also exploded. Sha! The moment the black jade bottle exploded, several wisps of gas spread out, enveloping the dark, dominating palm within. TSK. Not long after, the dark, dominating palm that Ning Yu was so proud of was nibbled away by the wisps of gas. Corpsine energy. Seeing that the dark, dominating palm was nibbled away, Ningyu, who had just raised his palm, slowly lowered it. Originally, he wanted to use the dark, dominating palm again. However, he did not expect that the corpsine energy that Su Xingyan produced was so terrifying that even his palm print was completely corroded. Luckily, I did not wrap all my soul force around the palm print. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Until now, Ningyu still had some lingering fear. Hee, what other tricks do you have? Show them all. After blocking Ningyu's soul attack skill, Su Xingyan regained his composure and laughed. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu slowly rose into the air. The vital qi in the two cyclones in his sea of consciousness poured out and attached to the breaking soul sword. Then, the soul-breaking sword vibrated at an extremely strange frequency. Suddenly, Ningyu stabbed out with the sword. Wherever the sword tip passed, the air was pierced. Absolute sword wave. When these three words came out of Ningyu's mouth, a sword wave that contained violent qi separated from the soul-breaking sword. Buzz! The air around the sword wave buzzed. The violent qi contained in the absolute sword wave caused Su Xingyan's face to turn extremely gloomy. He even had the impulse to escape. However, he did not choose to escape. Instead, he opened his mouth and spat out a ball of green gas. Grabbing the green gas in his hand, he quickly formed a hand seal with his right hand. Whoosh! As Su Xingyan's right hand continued to form hand seals, a terrifying suction force spread out with him as the center. In an instant, the surrounding qi all gathered on Su Xingyan's palm. Moreover, Su Xingyan's right hand had also turned dark green. Corpsine palm. In the next instant, Su Xingyan's right hand suddenly pushed out. With a violent wind, it collided with the absolute sword wave in the air. Su Xingyan had obviously underestimated the power of the absolute sword wave. As soon as his right hand came into contact with the absolute sword wave, he felt a piercing pain coming from his palm. The sudden change caused Su Xingyan to cry out involuntarily and hurriedly withdraw his right hand. However, his right hand was firmly stuck to the absolute sword wave. No matter how hard he tried, he could not retract his right hand. Moreover, Su Xingyan also discovered that an almost undetectable gas flowed from the absolute sword wave into his right hand and slowly climbed up his arm. Damn it! The change in his right hand caused Su Xingyan's heart to sink to the bottom. Pucci! Chapter 227. Su Xingyan's hand rose and fell, and a scream like that of a pig being slaughtered came from his mouth. So ruthless! Looking at the bloody palm on the ground, even Ningyu admired Su Xingyan's courage to give up his right hand. Although he admired Su Xingyan's courage, Ningyu knew that Su Xingyan was right. If he didn't give up his right hand, the consequences would be unimaginable. Whoosh! In the next moment, a blue flame shot out from Su Xingyan's right hand and arrived before Ningyu. Blue spiritual fire! Seeing the blue flame in front of Ningyu, Su Xingyan had the urge to slap himself. In reality, he should have thought of the blue spiritual fire a long time ago. After all, Ningyu had already shown him the blue spiritual fire in the cave. You cut off my hand! At this moment, Su Xingyan calmed down. Ignoring the pain coming from his right hand, he said in a deep voice, I'll use your head to pay for it. You cut off your right hand. It's none of my business. Ningyu shrugged and said, Besides, what are you going to use to take my head? The corner of Su Xingyan's mouth curled up. He suddenly bent down and picked up his right hand with his left hand. Then, under Ningyu's shocked gaze, Su Xingyan brought his right hand to his mouth. Crunch! Crunch! With the sound of crunching and chewing, Ningyu was dumbfounded, and he was extremely dumbfounded. Eating his right hand, only a freak from the corpse sect could do such a terrifying thing, right? Not long after, Su Xingyan finished chewing his right hand. He licked his lips and revealed an evil smile. Hiss hiss. Seeing Su Xingyan like this, Ningyu couldn't help but shiver. Goosebumps appeared all over his body. If you think my strength will drop a lot after losing my right hand, then you are too naive. With that, Su Xingyan took out a palm from his storage pouch. This palm was blood-red in color and contained violent energy fluctuations. Without the slightest hesitation, Su Xingyan placed the blood-red palm on his right wrist in front of Ningyu. Ka! Ka! As Su Xingyan waved his right arm, a series of crisp sounds rang out from the joint of his palms. However, this clear and melodious sound did not last for too long before it disappeared completely. The disappearance of the crisp sound indicated that the blood-red palm had replaced Su Xingyan's right hand and become a part of his body. This is the palm of a manifestation realm warrior. Originally, I planned to change it after I advanced to the Yuandan realm, but this is all thanks to you. Su Xingyan raised his right hand and said solemnly, "In order to repay you, I've decided to tear you apart and feed you to it." As soon as the word it fell, Su Xingyan rose from the ground. At the same time, his new right hand brought along a gust of wind, whistling as it struck towards Ningyu's head. At this critical moment, Ningyu hurriedly released the essence qi in his sea of consciousness and wrapped it around his palm to meet Su Xingyan's fist. Pa! A muffled sound rang out and a piercing pain came from his palm, causing Ningyu to hurriedly withdraw his right hand. Not good. However, just as he exerted force with his right hand, Ningyu's heart sank to the bottom. This was because he discovered that his right hand was the same as Su Xingyan's. No matter how hard he tried, he was unable to withdraw it. To be swallowed by the palm of a manifestation realm warrior, you're not at a disadvantage. Su Xingyan smiled evilly at Ningyu. Damn it, azure spirit fire. Cursing inwardly, Ningyu hurriedly released the azure spirit fire in his sea of consciousness and wrapped it around the soul-severing sword, instantly striking towards Su Xingyan's right hand. Chi! Unfortunately, the moment the soul-severing sword came into contact with Su Xingyan's right hand, it was stuck by a huge suction force and could not move an inch. If you want to live, you only have one way now. Su Xingyan indifferently said, "Abandon your right hand." That's impossible. There was no way Ningyu would abandon his right hand. Instead, he stared at Su Xingyan's right hand, hoping to find a flaw. After one's cultivation reached the manifestation realm, one could maintain the activity of the palm for a period of time and would not lose its function within a short period of time. The palm that Su Xingyan had reattached was obviously not freshly taken from a manifestation realm warrior. It seemed to have been preserved for a long time. However, it was impossible for a manifestation realm warrior's palm to be preserved for such a long time, unless... Thinking of this, Ningyu's eyes widened and his face revealed a look of ecstasy. This was because he thought of a possibility. It was also something that he had come into contact with in his previous life. In his previous life, he had refined an elixir to preserve the palm of martial artists below the supremacy realm. A grade 8 elixir, the active elixir. As long as the active elixir was turned into powder and smeared on the palm, it could ensure the palm's activity for a long time. From Su Xingyan's palm, Ningyu did not sense a trace of the active elixir's aura. In other words, Su Xingyan did not use a grade 8 active elixir, but another elixir instead. A grade 6 elixir, the melting elixir. Su Xingyan must have used the melting elixir. Using the melting elixir to preserve the palm had a fatal flaw. After the fusion, there was a 1-week buffer period. As long as soul force was used to stimulate the arm during this buffer period, the fusion of the arm would fail. Su Xingyan, I really don't know how you still dare to be so arrogant after using the melting elixir. Ningyu said in a low voice as the soul force in his body flowed out and wrapped around the fingertip of his left hand. What? Hearing Ningyu's words and seeing the soul force on Ningyu's fingertip, Su Xingyan's pupils shrank and revealed a horrified expression. He did not expect Ningyu to know that he was using the melting elixir to preserve his manifestation realm palm. Moreover, not only did Ningyu know about the melting elixir, but he also knew how to restrain it. Go! Ignoring Su Xingyan's shock, Ningyu's left hand suddenly pointed forward. Swoosh! After that, the peak-grade 4-soul force flew towards Su Xingyan's manifestation realm palm without a care for its life. TSK, TSK. As expected, the moment the grade 4-soul force came into contact with the manifestation realm palm, it unleashed its power. The place where the palm was connected let out a hissing sound, and there was actually an urge to break the connection. Close it for me. The sudden change caused Su Xingyan's expression to change drastically. He hurriedly circulated the skill and gathered the primordial qi on his palm, trying to stabilize it. Come back! Ningyu seized the opportunity and quickly withdrew his right hand. Moreover, the soul-breaking sword was also withdrawn. With a cold snort, Ningyu stomped his feet on the ground and suddenly dashed out while Su Xingyan was in a panic. Su Xingyan, a sin committed by heaven can be forgiven, but a sin committed by oneself cannot be forgiven. While controlling the soul force to suppress Su Xingyan's palm, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword and performed the fifth form of the Supreme Nine Purities, sword technique, absolute, sword wave, rumble. As soon as the absolute sword wave was used, heaven and earth immediately changed color, and the wind blew and clouds surged. This was because Ningyu had used a total of 4 cyclones of primordial qi in order to achieve a one-hit kill. Damn it! Feeling the huge wave of primordial qi released from the sword wave in the air, the hope that had just been ignited in Su Xingyan was once again shattered. Chapter 228. Do I have to give up the manifestation realm palm? Su Xingyan's expression was dark and uncertain, as if he could not make up his mind. He had gone through a lot of hardships to obtain the manifestation realm palm. He was unwilling to give it up now. If he did not give up the manifestation realm palm, he would have to give up his left hand. Where there's life, there's hope. After pondering for a second, Su Xingyan made a decision. He gave up his left hand and kept the manifestation realm palm. Su Xingyan gathered all the primordial energy in his body on his left hand. Violent primordial energy exploded from his palm and blasted towards the huge sword wave in midair. Hiss! The palm collided with the absolute sword wave. The piercing pain caused Su Xingyan to grit his teeth and tremble uncontrollably. Enduring the intense pain, Su Xingyan raised his manifestation realm palm and chopped down on his left hand. Bang! His hand rose and fell. At this moment, Su Xingyan's left hand was heartlessly abandoned. Crack! The moment his left hand fell to the ground, Su Xingyan seemed to have seen something terrifying. His eyes were filled with terror. Crack, crack! 2 consecutive cracking sounds rang out. Then, under Su Xingyan's shocked gaze, the manifestation realm palm left his right wrist. Before the manifestation realm palm fell to the ground, Ningyu raised his speed to the limit and quickly flashed past Su Xingyan. Su Xingyan looked at Ningyu, who had already flown far away, and then lowered his head to look at his hands. A heart-wrenching scream resounded through the entire dense forest. Brat, you will die a horrible death. Su Xingyan's heart sank. He gave up his left hand to block Ningyu's absolute sword wave, but his manifestation realm palm had been snatched away by Ningyu. In just a few minutes, he had lost 3 palms. He would never have imagined such a tragic state in the past. In the past, even if he had encountered a primordial core realm warrior, he would not have ended up in such a tragic state. I will die a horrible death? I'm sorry, but you might not live to see the sun tomorrow. A cold glint appeared in Ningyu's eyes as he held the soul-severing sword and rushed out. Chi-Chi, the absolute soul sword contained Berserk Yuan Chi that constantly pulsed. There were even some blue flames leaping on the sword tip. Indigo spiritual fire. Ning Yu wrapped all the indigo spiritual fire in his sea of consciousness around the soul-breaking sword. He even attached his peak 4th grade soul force to the soul-breaking sword in order to kill in one strike. Looking at the breaking soul sword approaching him, Su Xingyan's pupils shrank. He could not muster up the courage to resist. Whoosh! Su Xingyan's feet moved quickly. He was like a nimble rabbit as he quickly dashed into the distance. How could Ning Yu give Su Xingyan the chance to escape? He didn't hesitate to burn half of his soul force, increasing his speed once again. Buzz, buzz! Su Xingyan turned his head and saw that Ning Yu's speed had skyrocketed. Su Xingyan desperately forced out his essence blood to burn, and his speed also increased qualitatively. However, the injured Su Xingyan was obviously half a beat slower than Ning Yu. Even so, Ning Yu had to chase for a full hour before he caught up to Su Xingyan. After catching up to Su Xingyan, Ning Yu mercilessly pierced the absolute soul sword into the latter's heart. Puchi! Su Xingyan lowered his head and looked at the flying sword that had yet to be pulled out from his heart. He was stunned on the spot, and his eyes revealed a look of despair. Chi! Ning Yu slightly exerted force in his palm and pushed the absolute soul sword forward, directly piercing through Su Xingyan's chest. You! Su Xingyan's eyes widened. He opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but he fell to the ground with a plop. Until his death, he still could not understand why Ning Yu was so strong. Even when he advanced to the early stage of the true martial realm, he was still not Ning Yu's opponent. Could it be that Ning Yu was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger, and his real cultivation had already reached the peak of the true martial realm? However, Su Xingyan would never know the answer to this question in his life. Phew! After confirming that Su Xingyan was dead, Ning Yu's taut nerves finally relaxed a little. Putting away the absolute soul sword, Ning Yu directly sat on the ground, gasping for breath. Su Xingyan was practically the strongest person he had faced since his rebirth. His strength was comparable to an Yuan Dan realm martial artist. If he had not split the cyclone into 15 and successfully cultivated the 5th style of the 9 purities supreme sword art, absolute sword wave, he would definitely not be Su Xingyan's opponent. After recovering a little, Ning Yu stood up and walked toward Su Xingyan. After searching Su Xingyan's body for a while, Ning Yu found 2 storage pouches and a silver white box. Naturally, there were 3 exquisite fruits in the box. Ning Yu unceremoniously put them into the storage ring. So many spirit stones. Probing the storage pouches with his soul force, Ning Yu's face revealed a happy expression. Both storage pouches were filled with origin crystals. One contained 20 million high-grade crystals, and the other contained 1 million supreme-grade crystals. If 1 million supreme-grade crystals were converted to high-grade crystals, it would be 100 million high-grade crystals. I can't believe I've become a rich man. I got rich overnight. After putting the storage bag away, Ning Yu did not stay any longer. His figure flickered as he flew toward the Dark Emperor. Although the strength of the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil had increased qualitatively, the 2 half-step Yuan Dan stage corpse sect elders were not pushovers and would not be easily bullied. According to Ning Yu's speculation, the 2 corpse sect elders were not weak. Although they were not stronger than Su Xingyan, the gap should not be too big. After all, the gap between realms was insurmountable. Because he was worried about the safety of the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil, Ning Yu raised his speed to the limit and arrived before long. What the F***CK? Seeing the scene in the air, Ning Yu couldn't help but curse. His face was filled with shock. He came at the right time and saw the bloody side of the battle. The Dark Emperor grabbed the specter corpse with his front claws and suddenly exerted force, tearing the specter corpse in half. One must know that it was a half-step Yuan Dan realm specter corpse. yet the Dark Emperor easily tore it in half. Such strength could only be described as terrifying. Without the help of the specter corpse, the corpse sect elder was clearly unable to do as he wished. If the battle continued, he would be defeated sooner or later. After the Dark Emperor was relieved, Ningyu shifted his gaze to the Red Devil's battlefield. Compared to the Dark Emperor, the Red Devil was even more exaggerated. Only he and the Red Devil were fighting in the air, and the specter corpse had long disappeared. What the F***CK? Looking at the ground, Ningyu was dumbfounded when he saw the skeleton not far away. The Red Devil was much more exaggerated than the Dark Emperor. The specter corpse had already been eliminated by him, leaving only a skeleton. Just when Ningyu was shocked, the Red Devil suddenly turned into a red flying sword and seized the opportunity to pierce the corpse sect elder's forehead. One-hit kill. The corpse sect elder didn't even have the chance to scream before he was killed by the Red Devil. Gulp. Seeing the corpse sect elder being killed, Ningyu swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He originally thought that he was strong enough, but who would have thought that the Red Devil was on par with him? Chapter 229. Originally, the Dark Emperor had the upper hand against the old man from the corpse sect. With the help of Hong Mo, it was like adding wings to a tiger. In just a quarter of an hour, the Dark Emperor and Hong Mo joined forces and killed the old man from the corpse sect. Red Skin, hurry up and help Ningyu. After the battle ended, the Dark Emperor didn't have time to rest. He quickly flapped the purple gold wings on his back to help Ningyu. He knew that Su Xingyan was still very strong. Swish! Before the Dark Emperor could move, Ningyu appeared in front of him wearing a phantom armor. Ningyu! Seeing the familiar figure in front of him, the Dark Emperor's mouth opened wide in disbelief. In the Dark Emperor's view, Ningyu was basically no match for Su Xingyan. Therefore, after he killed the old man from the corpse sect, the first thing he thought of was to help Ningyu. But now, Ningyu was standing in front of him and scathed, as if nothing had happened. The Dark Emperor stopped and said, "Su Xingyan was killed by you." "That's right." Nodding, Ning, you didn't want to talk about Su Xingyan too much. Instead, he said, we shouldn't stay here for long. We should return to Wutua City as soon as possible. This trip to the Mio Forest could be said to be a great harvest. Not only did he kill the 6 peerless geniuses of the corpse sect, he also obtained 40 million high-grade origin crystals and 1 million top-grade origin crystals. What made Ningyu even more excited was that he obtained 3 exquisite fruits. With 3 exquisite fruits, Ningyu was confident that he could split the cyclone into 16 and break through to the true martial realm. Understood. Even though there were too many questions in his heart, the Dark Emperor knew that this was not the place to talk. With such a huge battle, there might be experts who noticed this place. In their current state, if an origin core expert rushed over, the consequences would be unimaginable. Without any hesitation, the Dark Emperor shrunk his body and rushed out of the Mio Forest. Hong Mo attached himself to the Broken Soul Sword and followed Ningyu out of the Mio Forest. Voila! Sure enough, not long after Ningyu and the others left, space surged, and 2 figures appeared in the sky above the forest. We're late. One of the elders swept his gaze across the dense forest and frowned. Another middle-aged man said in a deep voice, "Should we go down and investigate?" After pondering for a moment, the old man shook his head and said, "No need. The secluded forest was occupied by the corpse sect a long time ago. The battle that happened here is most likely related to them. It's best if we don't get involved." After some thought, the old man continued, "Don't tell anyone about this. Just pretend that it never happened. Our mission is to ensure the safety of Wutua City. As long as the corpse sect's origin core realm warriors don't cross the line, we don't need to take the initiative to attack. Go." With that, the middle-aged man and the old man's figures flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Pa! At the same time, Wu Ta City Alchemy Union. Inside the alchemy room, Master Tong suddenly threw a jade bottle on the ground and pointed at Ningyu's nose. Do you think my place is a welfare institute? You're shoving everyone here. I haven't been refining pills for 2 days. You'll have to bear all of this loss. What loss can you have? Besides, when An and Gufei aren't in the alchemy room. Ningyu slandered in his heart, but he didn't dare to say it out loud. Instead, he said, Elder Tong, don't worry. I'll definitely do what I promised you. A furnace of transcendent essence, recovery pills. After returning to Wu Ta City, Ningyu didn't go anywhere else. He went directly to the Alchemy Union. He thought he could see Lu Wei and the others, but who would have thought that he would be caught by Elder Tong and dragged to the alchemy room? Too late. Stretching out 2 fingers, Master Tong said, 2 furnaces of transcendent essence recovery pills. Hurry up and work for me, or else you'll suffer. Okay, 2 furnaces it is. Ningyu nodded helplessly. As long as Master Tong cooperated and was obedient, refining transcendent essence, recovery pills was still relatively easy. That's more like it. I've already prepared the medicinal ingredients. We can start refining pills now. As he spoke, Master Tong took out a storage bag and poured a large amount of medicinal ingredients on the table. Seeing Master Tong like this, Ningyu was immediately dumbfounded. It felt like he was prepared at all times. Ningyu even suspected that it wasn't a coincidence that he ran into Master Tong at the entrance of the Alchemy Union. Master Tong, where's Lu Wei and the rest? Ningyu hurriedly said. Why didn't I see them? Oh, you're talking about that little girl? This morning, a powerhouse came to Snowfield Pavilion and took them away, Master Tong replied. Took them away? Gufei and his family were also taken away? Ningyu asked doubtfully. Didn't you understand what I said? All of them left. Not a single one was left. Master Tong was rather impatient as he said, You brat, hurry up. Don't go around in circles with me. It's not impossible to refine a supreme essence, recovering pill. From now on, you have to listen to me the entire time. Ningyu rolled his eyes and said in a deep voice, If I tell you to go east, you can't go west. Brat, you want to mess with me, right? Master Tong's temper also flared up as he said angrily, I've prepared 10 batches of medicinal ingredients for the essence, recovering pill. If you can't refine 2 batches of Supreme Essence recovering pills before evening, I'll let you know why flowers are so red. How would I dare to mess with you? It's just that Master said that refining a Supreme Essence recovering pill is extremely difficult. If there's a problem in one of the details, the refining might fail. Ningyu shrugged and said indifferently, When the refining fails, don't say that I didn't remind you. All right, I'll listen to your instructions the entire time. In order to refine a Supreme Essence recovering pill, Master Tong gritted his teeth and said, I'd like to see what ability you have to make me refine a Supreme Essence recovering pill. The reason why Master Tong was so eager to refine a Supreme Essence recovering pill was that he had to represent Wu Tua City's Alchemy Union to head to the capital to participate in the Alchemy Conference. During the previous Alchemy Conference, he was mocked by a 5th-grade alchemist from the capital's Alchemy Union, who said that he couldn't even refine an essence recovering pill. This time, he wanted to get back at him. If Ningyu knew what Master Tong was thinking, he would definitely scoff. He was already so old, yet he still held a grudge. However, Ningyu would definitely do his best to help Master Tong. After all, he had experienced the feeling of being mocked and knew that it was not a good feeling. Ningyu, is it really okay for your pet to be here? Master Tong did not refine the essence recovering pill immediately. Instead, he pointed at the Dark Emperor who was lying on the side and said, Will he spoil things? The Dark Emperor rolled his eyes at Master Tong before moving to the side. The Dark Emperor's human-like action caused Master Tong to be dumbfounded. At the same time, he was rather curious. Why was this pet dog looking down on him? Ignore him. Let's hurry up and refine the essence, recovering pill. Ningyu knew the Dark Emperor's temper. If Master Tong said a few more words, the Dark Emperor would definitely explode. The Dark Emperor hated it when people called him a dog. If he didn't know that Master Tong had helped Lu Wei before, he would definitely settle the score with Master Tong when he called him a pet dog. How strange. Chapter 230. Chapter 230. Zhang Yu the Essence Returning Pill was a 5th grade medicinal pill with Master Tong's alchemy level and soul force strength. Being able to form the pill was already very good. Last time, if it wasn't for Ningyu's help, he wouldn't even be able to refine a high-grade essence rejuvenation pill, let alone a supreme grade one. A supreme grade essence returning pill and a transcendent grade essence returning pill were on 2 completely different levels of existence. Out of 10 alchemists who could refine a top-grade soul-restoring pill, it was difficult for one to refine a transcendent-grade soul-restoring pill. Directing Master Tong to refine transcendent-grade essence-returning pill, Ningyu's pressure was still quite great. Buzz! However, when Master Tong released his soul power, Ningyu's eyes were filled with shock. This was because the strength of Grandmaster Tong's soul force had actually advanced from 5th grade middle stage to 5th grade late stage. The strengthening of soul force meant that Grandmaster Tong's control over medicinal ingredients was more stable. With the strength of a 5th grade late stage soul force, I might be able to refine 3 or 4 batches of transcendent grade vitality restoration pills out of 10 batches of pills. Ningyu was a little relieved. After all, there was a huge gap between guiding a 5th grade intermediate alchemist and guiding a 5th grade late alchemist. Sha! When Ningyu was guiding Master Tong in refining pills, a 20-year-old man walked into the Alchemy Guild. This man was obviously more familiar with the Alchemy Union. After entering the Alchemy Union, he didn't stop at the main hall but headed inside. Master Du, Master Tong has instructed me to wait for him in the hall if you come over. Seeing the man's actions, Su Yun hurriedly came out from the front desk and said, "How many times have I told you not to call me Master Du? Call me Brother Du or Du Chun." The man was obviously a little unhappy and said in a warm and angry tone, "Is my master refining the essence restoring pill again?" Su Yan's face was slightly flushed as she hurriedly said, "Do Big Brother Du, I don't know if Master Tong refined the essence returning pill or not." Just now, Master Tong brought Ningyu into the pill refining room. "Ningyu?" Du Chun frowned and asked doubtfully, "Who is he? Why haven't I heard of it?" "Ningyu is," Su Yan wanted to explain, but his mouth opened and closed, not knowing what to say. After all, she did not know much about Ningyu. With a dejected expression, Su Yan said, "Big Brother Du, I don't know Ningyu's identity either. I only know that he's younger than you, and Grandmaster Tong seems to be very familiar with him." "Is he familiar?" "Master has never mentioned this Ningyu to me." In Du Chun's impression, other than his junior brother, there seemed to be no martial artist in Wu Tuo City whose talent in alchemy could compare to his. Could it be that this Ningyu was Master's personal disciple? Thinking of this, Du Chun couldn't help but want to meet Ningyu. Hee, Senior Brother Du, are you picking up girls again? Right at this moment, a light chuckle sounded from the entrance of the Alchemy Union. A young man in white came to Du Chun's side. The corner of his lips curled up as he looked at Su Yun and said with a smile, "It's not many days until the alchemy conference. Senior brother, you should learn alchemy knowledge and raise your alchemy skills. Don't embarrass our Wu Tuo City's Alchemy Union." Grand Master Zhang. Su Yun hurriedly greeted when she saw the man in white. Zhang Yu glanced at Su Yun and said with a strange smile, "His Tisk, Senior Brother Du, you have a good eye. You're full of life." Du Chun's expression was a little ugly as he said in a deep voice, "Junior Brother Zhang, No one will think you're mute if you don't speak." Zhang Yu did not comment. He moved his feet and walked toward the alchemy room where Grandmaster Tong was. Swoosh! Du Chun's figure flashed and blocked Zhang Yu's path. He said, "Master should be refining elixirs. I'm afraid it's not good to disturb him at this time, right? Don't think I didn't hear that Master is in the alchemy room with a person called Ningyu." Zhang Yu said casually, "Moreover, the strength of my soul energy has advanced to late stage 3rd grade. I'm here to tell Master and ask him for some alchemy knowledge." Late stage 3rd grade. Du Chun was slightly stunned when he heard that. He looked at Zhang Yu in disbelief. 3 days ago, Zhang Yu's soul energy was the same as his, mid-stage 3rd grade. It had only been 3 days and he had already advanced his soul energy to late stage 3rd grade? "Senior brother Du, you have to work hard. I heard that there are many hidden alchemy geniuses in this alchemy conference. With your mid-stage 3rd grade soul energy, you won't even be able to enter the top 10. Zhang Yu smiled. "If you can't enter the top 10, I'm afraid Master won't be happy. It's none of your business whether I can enter the top 10 or not." Du Chun said in a deep voice, "I have to remind you that Master is refining elixirs in the alchemy room. If you barge in recklessly, you'll have to bear the consequences." Zhang Yu shrugged and obviously did not take Du Chun's words to heart. He walked toward the alchemy room. Beside him, Su Yun gritted his teeth and said, "Grandmaster Zhang, Grandmaster Tong told me to wait for him here and not to enter the alchemy room without his permission." "No problem. I have some questions that I would like to ask Master." Zhang Yu waved his hand without turning his head. "Your lover might run into a wall when he meets Master, but I'm different. I have advanced my soul energy to late stage 3rd grade, and there's a high chance that my soul energy will reach the pinnacle of 3rd grade before the alchemy conference. Big brother Du, what should we do?" Zhang Yu did not know how to appreciate kindness. Su Yun was on the verge of crying. Du Chun comforted her. "It's fine. Go ahead and get busy. I'll explain to Master later." "Okay," Su Yun replied softly and returned to the front desk. Du Chun was still a little worried. He followed behind Zhang Yu and walked toward the alchemy room. What a waste. After cultivating for so long, his soul energy is still only mid-stage 3rd grade. So many years of cultivation have gone to waste. Zhang Yu mumbled as he walked. Not long after, he stopped in front of the alchemy room. A dog! However, when he saw a dog lying in front of the alchemy room, he was taken aback. "Since when can a dog enter the alchemy union?" "Get out of here. I want to enter the alchemy room." Zhang Yu lifted his right leg and kicked the Dark Emperor. However, before Zhang Yu's foot could touch the Dark Emperor, he let out a blood-curdling screech as his body fell backward. Bang! He crashed into the wall behind him. Zhang Yu was dumbfounded. How could a dog be so powerful? After a short moment of confusion, Zhang Yu's face turned gloomy. He realized that Du Chun was already standing in front of him. In other words, Du Chun had seen how he was accidentally kicked away by the Dark Emperor. He had to get back at him. With a gloomy face, Zhang Yu unleashed his aura and suppressed the Dark Emperor. "Zhang Yu, what are you doing?" Du Chun's face changed when he saw Zhang Yu's actions. Du Chun knew that the dog in front of the alchemy room belonged to Ningyu, and Ningyu had a good relationship with his master. Chapter 231. Stupid dog. How dare you offend your grandpa Zhang Yu? You're finished. No one in this world can save you. Ignoring Du Chun's scolding, Zhang Yu slowly walked toward the Dark Emperor and said darkly, "This afternoon I want to eat dog, bang!" Before he could finish his sentence, Zhang Yu's body once again flew toward the wall behind him like a kite with a broken string. The sound of the collision this time was much louder than before. After lying on the ground for a long time, Zhang Yu finally stood up. The Dark Emperor lifted his eyelids lazily and said calmly, Remember, I'm your Grandpa Emperor. You must call me Grandpa when you see me in the future. Otherwise, I won't let you see the moon tonight." "Grandpa Emperor?" Zhang Yu was stunned. "Sigh, my good grandson is so obedient." The Dark Emperor nodded in satisfaction and said, "Your grandpa is busy right now. Scram to somewhere cool and disappear from my sight." F***CK, is this dog a demon? Zhang Yu was dumbfounded. He could not believe what he had just heard. He thought he was arrogant enough. Who would have thought that this dog was even more arrogant than him? Zhang Yu's face sank to the bottom. He had never suffered such a huge loss before. Furthermore, he was defeated by a dog again and again. "Stupid dog, you've completely angered me." Zhang Yu's face turned ashen as he growled. "A dog dares to be so arrogant? I think you must be tired of living. Noisy!" However, before Zhang Yu could finish his sentence, the Dark Emperor rose from the ground and instantly appeared in front of him. Then, the Dark Emperor used his sharp front claws to grab Zhang Yu's chest. The Dark Emperor was so fast that Zhang Yu did not even have time to react. Looking down at the few bloody wounds on his chest, Zhang Yu opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something. However, he was stunned on the spot. He realized that the Dark Emperor was standing on his hind legs in front of him. The Dark Emperor crossed his front paws like a human and said calmly, "Sometimes a cheap mouth deserves to be punished. I'll punish you with 50 slaps." 50 slaps? Zhang Yu was completely dumbfounded. After the previous 2 exchanges, he had already recognized the gap between him and the Dark Emperor. Even if he were to use his trump card, he would not be a match for the Dark Emperor. As the saying goes, when you are under the eaves of a dog, you have to lower your head. Zhang Yu understood this logic, but he couldn't bring himself to apologize to a dog no matter what. Moreover, many people in the hall had already seen what happened here, and they were all looking over here. "What? You aren't willing to make a move?" The Dark Emperor raised his eyebrows and said, "Since that's the case, I'll make a move myself." Whoosh! Right at this moment, Du Chun took a step forward and arrived before the door of the pill refinement room. He said this, "Senior, please be magnanimous and don't stoop to my junior brother's level." Actually, Du Chun was very unwilling to plead for Zhang Yu because he didn't get along with her, and she was arrogant and ignorant. Such a person had to suffer a little. Otherwise, even if they entered the capital, they would still be at a disadvantage. However, Du Chun did not want to watch a dog force Zhang Yu to slap herself. With so many people watching, if Zhang Yu was forced to slap herself, not only would he be embarrassed, even his master, Master Tong, would be embarrassed. In order to protect his master's dignity, Du Chun lowered his stance. "I believe my junior brother didn't mean it. I apologize on his behalf." "You apologize on his behalf?" The Dark Emperor pointed at his nose and smiled. "How about this? I'm easy to talk to. As long as you slap him 50 times, I can let bygones be bygones." "Senior, can I not slap myself?" Du Chun asked. "If you don't slap yourself, then scram. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you." Glaring at Du Chun, the Dark Emperor turned to Zhang Yu and said, 50 times. Finish it in 30 seconds, or I'll beat you up so badly that even your mother won't recognize you." "Stupid dog, don't go too far." Clenching her fists, Zhang Yu yelled, "This is the Pill Refinement Union. It's not a place for you to behave atrociously. I won't lower myself to your level, but I hope you can behave yourself and leave." The Dark Emperor laughed. Zhang Yu was really cute. Even now, he still hadn't realized the situation he was in. Such a person had to be taught a lesson so that he would remember it. With a cold expression, the Dark Emperor dashed toward Zhang Yu again. "Uncle Rome, save me." As soon as the Dark Emperor made his move, Zhang Yu screamed and quickly retreated. Swoosh! As Zhang Yu was retreating, a figure came from afar and took over his position in the blink of an eye. The figure raised his palm and clashed head-on with the Dark Emperor. Rustle! After the attack, the figure retreated a few steps before stabilizing himself. As for the Dark Emperor, He only retreated 2 to 3 steps before regaining his balance. In comparison, the difference between the two was obvious. It's so strong. Rongsheng's expression was a little ugly. He didn't expect a dog to have such powerful combat strength. Even a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm like him couldn't get the upper hand. Although he hadn't used his full strength and had only used 30% of his strength, the fact that the black dog was able to block 30% of his attack was enough to show the black dog's strength. If they weren't at the Alchemy Union, Rongsheng really wanted to test the Dark Emperor's real strength. How did Zhang Yu offend you? Rongsheng knew that Zhang Yu was Master Tong's disciple. Helping Zhang Yu was the same as helping Master Tong. He had wanted to ask Master Tong to help him refine a 5th-grade elixir a long time ago, but Master Tong didn't seem to care. Now that he was helping Zhang Yu, he didn't have to worry about Master Tong not helping him. He had decided to stand on Zhang Yu's side. Uncle Rong, how did I offend him? With Rongsheng's appearance, Zhang Yu felt safe. He said coldly, I just wanted to enter the alchemy lab to look for my master. Who would have thought that this stupid dog would lie in front of the door and refuse to give way? He even attacked me. You must seek justice for me. At the side, Du Chun heard Zhang Yu's words and bit his lips. As if he had made a big decision, he said, Uncle Rong, it's not what Junior Brother said. It was Junior Brother who first disrespected Senior and then attacked Senior. Du Chun said Senior was forced to do so, otherwise he wouldn't have attacked Junior Brother. Du Chun. Zhang Yu's face was livid. He scolded Du Chun. Lying will bring retribution. I advise you to take back your words, or else. I say, have you guys discussed it? The Dark Emperor was a little impatient. He said, If you have discussed it, then get lost. Leave that octopus behind and slap him 50 times, not one less. In fact, the Dark Emperor was already very restrained. After all, when he came out of the alchemy lab, Ningyu had told him not to cause trouble and not to let anyone enter the alchemy lab. Chapter 232. If that's the case, then you're not giving me any face. Rongsheng's face turned ugly. He did not expect the black dog to not give him any face at all. This made him feel embarrassed. No matter how strong a dog was, how strong could it be? Could it be stronger than him, a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm? Rongsheng decided that no matter what, he had to teach this arrogant black dog a lesson. Otherwise, it would not know how high the sky was. How much is your face worth? The Dark Emperor curled his lips in disdain and said indifferently, Before you understand the situation, I advise you not to interfere. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I won't hurt you by mistake. He hurt me by mistake? That depends on whether you have the ability or not. In the next moment, Rongsheng rose from the ground, gathered all his origin chi on his wrist, and attacked the Dark Emperor. Facing Rongsheng's powerful attack, the Dark Emperor shrugged, not taking it to heart at all. The Dark Emperor even bared his teeth at Zhang Yu. Whoosh! In the Alchemy Union's hall, when everyone saw Rongsheng appear, they were all shocked. Rongsheng was a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm. Then, seeing Rongsheng attack the Dark Emperor, everyone was dumbfounded. Why is Rongsheng attacking a dog? That dog is not simple. Even Zhang Yu is no match for him. Fighting with a dog, if this gets out, it will damage Rongsheng's reputation. Didn't you see? That dog defeated Zhang Yu just now. Rongsheng is helping Zhang Yu get back at him. That's right. Rongsheng is a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm. With him attacking, that dog will definitely... What? Just when everyone thought that Rongsheng would easily defeat the Dark Emperor, the dramatic change that took place left everyone dumbfounded again. Some even stood rooted to the ground with their mouths agape, unable to speak for a long time. Rongsheng's speed was very fast. Almost instantly he arrived in front of the Dark Emperor and threw a punch. Pa pa pa! Pa pa pa! However, just when Rongsheng thought that the Dark Emperor was about to be hit, he heard a series of slapping sounds, causing his expression to change drastically. An afterimage. Very soon, the Dark Emperor in front of him turned into a shadow and disappeared. At this time, the Dark Emperor was already standing in front of Zhang Yu, his tail whipping Zhang Yu nonstop. Continuous slapping sounds resounded in the passageway, causing Rongsheng's heart to sink to rock bottom. Although the Dark Emperor's tail had struck Zhang Yu's face, in Rongsheng's eyes, it was no different from a slap to his face. Whoosh! Gritting his teeth, Rongsheng leaped up once more. With a flick of his wrist, a flying sword appeared in his hand, and he thrust it toward the Dark Sovereign, courting death. Rongsheng did not know what was good for him, completely infuriating the Dark Emperor. First, he flung Zhang Yu far away with his tail. Then his eyes flickered with a vicious glint. Ding! The Dark Emperor raised its front claws and grabbed toward the flying sword in Rongsheng's hand. Humph! You're courting death. A wisp of an evil smile arose on the corners of Rongsheng's mouth when he saw the Dark Emperor's actions, and he grunted coldly. This is a high-grade, Earth-rank flying sword of mine. Since you used your claws to grab it, then fine, I'll chop off your claws. Phut! As he spoke, Rongsheng's eyes widened. He stared at the broken flying sword in his hand with an expression of extreme disbelief. A high-grade, Earth-rank flying sword was torn in half by a dog's claws? Just how strong was this dog? You're disturbing my peace. The Dark Emperor threw the broken flying sword far away and glared at Rongsheng. Then, in a flash, he entered the alchemy room. Silence! Silence! Deathly silence! Gulp! A long time after the Dark Emperor disappeared, the deathly silence was broken by the sound of someone swallowing saliva. Immediately, the hall erupted into a flurry of discussion. That dog is that powerful. Indeed, even Rongsheng, who is at the peak of the martial state, is no match for him. Why haven't I seen that dog before? Whose pet is he? I don't know. He entered Master Tong's alchemy room, so he must be Master Tong's pet. That's impossible. If he was Master Tong's pet, he wouldn't have been so heavy-handed with Zhang Yu. Whoosh! Everyone turned to look at Zhang Yu after the last word was spoken. Zhang Yu stood where he was. His face was swollen like a pig's, and his eyes were dull. He had been slapped in the face by a dog in front of so many people. No, it should be slapped in the face. He had the urge to die. Damn dog, I'm going to kill you. Zhang Yu clenched his fists so hard that they made cracking sounds. His eyes were filled with malice. In his mind, he had already sentenced the Dark Emperor to death. No one in the world could save the Dark Emperor. So powerful, Rongsheng stood where he was and stared at the broken flying sword on the ground. He could not help but murmur, "It's unbelievable that a dog can be so powerful." Rongsheng knew that he had kicked an iron plate this time. If a dog could be so powerful, one could only imagine how powerful its owner must be. Once the owner of the dog came looking for him, how should he deal with it? After all, he was not in the right. Su Yin said that the dog came with Ningyu. Du Chun was dumbfounded when he saw the Dark Emperor defeat Rongsheng so easily. After the shock, Du Chun wanted to meet Ningyu. He wanted to know who Ningyu was. Su Yin had mentioned that Ningyu was younger than him. There were two possibilities for such a young man to have such a powerful pet with him. The first possibility was that he was powerful, comparable to a martial artist at the peak of the martial realm. The second possibility was that he was the son of a major sect or family. In comparison, Du Chun believed that Ningyu was the first possibility. Done! At the same time, in the alchemy room, with a low roar, Master Tong slapped the cauldron fiercely. Instantly, a white pail with a smooth appearance and a faint white mist flew out. Pa! Master Tong leaped up and grabbed the white pill in his hand. A supreme vitality pill. Master Tong's face lit up when he saw the white pill in his hand. He hurriedly put the pill into the jade bottle he had prepared. The temperature when you were refining the vitality fruit was a bit low. If it was 200 degrees higher, there would be a 50% chance of refining a supreme vitality pill. Ningyu was very dissatisfied after refining the supreme vitality pill. He complained, "How many times have I told you to listen to me? You just won't listen." "It's fine. The top grade origin restoring Dan is already very good, and this is only the first furnace. There are still 9 more furnaces. I will definitely be able to refine a transcendent grade origin restoring Dan." Master Tong was already very satisfied with refining the top-grade origin restoring Dan. He knew how difficult it was to make supreme vitality pills. In his opinion, making 1 batch out of 10 batches was already heaven-defying. "Take a break. I'll make the second batch in 10 minutes. Ningyu waved his hand and walked toward the Dark Emperor. Chapter 233. Refining Transcendent Grade Vitality Recovery Pills was different from refining ordinary vitality recovery pills. It could not be disturbed at all. The Dark Emperor would not disturb the refinement, but Ningyu was worried that someone would suddenly barge into the alchemy room and disrupt the refinement. Therefore, he asked the Dark Emperor to leave the alchemy room and watch from outside. Now that the Dark Emperor suddenly entered, Ningyu was a little confused. "Don't mention it, there's a lunatic outside." The Dark Emperor was a little angry and said, "If you didn't say it, I would have cut him into pieces." "Lunatic?" Ningyu was stunned and frowned. "Why would there be a lunatic in the Alchemy Union?" "Don't say I didn't warn you. That lunatic bites anyone he sees. You have to be careful when you go out." Shrugging, the Dark Emperor found a corner and lay on the ground. "Oh, right." Just as he lay down, the Dark Emperor seemed to have thought of something and said again that lunatic seems to be called octopus or something. What a strange name. "Zhang Yu." Before Ningyu could speak, Master Tong's eyes suddenly opened and he said, "Are you sure that's Zhang Yu outside?" "What's there to be surprised about? It's just an octopus." Pouting, the Dark Emperor said, "Don't disturb me, I want to rest." As he spoke, the Dark Emperor lay on the ground and slowly closed his eyes. Seeing Master Tong's reaction, Ningyu frowned. Could it be that Master Tong knew that octopus? After thinking about it, Ningyu said, "Elder Tong, are you related to Octopus?" "He's my disciple," Master Tong said in a deep voice. I don't know how he offended the Dark Emperor. Ningyu had already told Master Tong that the Dark Emperor was not his beast pet, but his good friend. Otherwise, with how much Master Tong favored Zhang Yu, he would definitely settle the score with the Dark Emperor. Since the Dark Emperor and Ningyu had a good relationship, he had to investigate the truth of the matter. If he rashly flared up at the Dark Emperor, it would not be good for him and Ningyu. Creak! Just then, the door of the alchemy room opened again. A young man walked in. "Zhang Yu, come over here and tell me what exactly is going on." Seeing the young man enter, Grandmaster Tong's expression was somewhat ugly as he shouted in a deep voice, "Master, it's all because of him." Initially, Zhang Yu wanted to complain, but when he saw the Dark Emperor's murderous gaze, he hurried to Master Tong's side and said carefully, "I came to the alchemy room to tell you a piece of good news, but who would have thought that he would block the door and not let me in? What happened to your face?" Although Zhang Yu had taken care of her swollen face, Master Tong still noticed it. After all, it was extremely difficult for a swollen face to return to normal in a short period of time. At the very least, with Zhang Yu's strength, it was impossible. "Master, you have to uphold justice for me. It's all because of him. He didn't let me enter the alchemy room, and he even hit me." Zhang Yu's face was covered with tears and snot. Master Tong's face was a little gloomy. No matter what, Zhang Yu was still his disciple. Even if he shouldn't have, the Dark Emperor couldn't hurt him to this extent. The Dark Emperor wasn't slapping Zhang Yu's face, but his. "Oh, right. What good news do you have for me?" Master Tong asked, suppressing the anger in his heart. Zhang Yu did not speak, but released his soul power. Late stage 3rd grade. As soon as Zhang Yu released his soul power, Master Tong's expression changed. "Your soul power has actually reached late stage 3rd grade. You have a high chance of entering the top 10 in this alchemy conference." "Master, I feel that there's hope for me to raise my soul power to peak 3rd grade before the alchemy conference," Zhang Yu said confidently. "What? Peak 3rd grade?" Hearing this, Master Tong finally lost his composure. Peak 3rd grade soul power might be able to enter the top 5 of the alchemy conference. He might even be able to enter the top 3. If Zhang Yu could enter the top 3 of the alchemy conference, it would be very beneficial for him. "Master, you have to seek justice for me." Zhang Yu was very satisfied with Master Tong's reaction. It was within his expectations. As the saying goes, climb up along a pole. Zhang Yu's current behavior was exactly the same as climbing up the pole. Raising his head, Zhang Yu looked at the Dark Emperor. That gaze seemed to be saying, "I'll teach you a lesson later." Rolling his eyes, the Dark Emperor could not be bothered with Zhang Yu. He turned his body slightly and threw a butt at Zhang Yu. "You." Zhang Yu's face was livid. If not for the Dark Emperor's powerful strength, he would definitely walk up and beat the Dark Emperor up. Although he was very excited, Master Tong did not lose his rationality. The Dark Emperor and Ning Yu were good partners. Ning Yu could help him refine transcendent grade essence, rejuvenating pills. Because of this, he could not teach the Dark Emperor a lesson in front of Ning Yu. At the start, Master Tong did not put Ning Yu on the same level as him. After all, Ning Yu was a junior. His cultivation was not as high as his, and his soul power was not as strong as his. But after refining this cauldron of essence, rejuvenating pills, he finally recognized that Ning Yu was not simple. To be able to grasp the details of refining essence, rejuvenating pills, so clearly, even if he had a master to guide him, it was not easy. At the very least, his 2 disciples, Zhang Yu and Du Chun, could not do it. By now, he already put Ning Yu on the same level as him. This matter was indeed a little troublesome. After musing for a moment, Master Tong could not determine that the Dark Emperor was at fault just based on Zhang Yu's side of the story. He decided to give the Dark Emperor a chance to defend himself. "Dark Emperor, tell me what's going on." Master Tong thought that his attitude was already good enough. Who would have thought that the Dark Emperor did not buy it at all? Fanning his ears, the Dark Emperor said lazily, "That kid deserves a beating. It's just that simple." Master Tong's expression was somewhat ugly, but he ultimately restrained himself and did not explode. At this time, Ning Yu said, "Elder Tong, the matter might not be that simple. Please allow me to ask the Dark Emperor. If it's really his fault, I'll definitely make him apologize to Zhang Yu." "Apologize? Who wants that damn dog's apology? I'll make him slap his own mouth." With Master Tong backing him, Zhang Yu's back also stiffened as he said sinisterly, "This is bad." When Zhang Yu said the word "damn dog," Ning Yu knew that it was going to be bad. Swoosh! As expected, as soon as Zhang Yu's voice fell, the Dark Emperor turned into an afterimage and appeared in front of him in the blink of an eye. Smack! 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 His tail flapped continuously, and all of them landed on Zhang Yu's mouth. The sudden change caused Master Tong to be dumbfounded. He did not expect the Dark Emperor to be so savage as to whip his disciple in front of him. "Enough!" After a brief moment of shock, Master Tong said coldly, "Dark Emperor, don't think that you'll be insatiable just because I'm not going to lower myself to your level. That's my disciple. I should be the one to teach him a lesson, not you." Swoosh! The Dark Emperor's figure flashed, and he landed next to Ning Yu. Looking at Master Tong, The Dark Emperor said indifferently, "You should be glad that you helped Ningyu. Otherwise, based on what you just said, you'll end up like that octopus." Chapter 234. You. The Dark Emperor's actions caused Master Tong's face to turn ugly. He had already given the Dark Emperor a lot of face. But who would have thought that the Dark Emperor was still so arrogant? Humph! I'll go out and investigate the situation. If it's really your fault, I'll teach you a lesson today. Flinging his sleeves, Master Tong snorted and walked towards the door of the alchemy room. "Master, wait for me." After Master Tong left, Zhang Yu naturally didn't dare to stay in the alchemy room any longer and quickly followed. "Sai, Dark Emperor, what do you want me to say about you?" After Master Tong and the rest left the alchemy room, Ningyu came to the Dark Emperor's side and sighed. "After following me for so long, can't you control your temper a little? Still so explosive. Even if you want to teach Zhang Yu a lesson, you can't do it in front of his master." At this point, Ningyu paused and continued, "You can wait until we leave the Alchemy Union before you make your move. This way, no one will know and it will save you a lot of trouble." These troubles are nothing. The Dark Emperor obviously didn't take this matter to heart and said indifferently, "That old man is only at the peak of the true martial realm. I can fight 10 martial artists like him." Rolling his eyes, Ningyu was completely speechless. Everything about the Dark Emperor was okay, but there was one bad thing about him. He didn't think things through and was too rash. Judging from Zhang Yu's arrogance, he must have offended the Dark Emperor first. Although the Dark Emperor was impulsive, he wouldn't offend people for no reason. "No matter what, Master Tong helped me before. Let's go out together." Ningyu decided to go out and take a look. After all, Master Tong had helped him before. Although this help was a little utilitarian, he was indebted to Master Tong. "Rongsheng?" At the same time, at the door of the alchemy room, Master Tong frowned and said in a deep voice, "Did you see what happened here just now?" Master Tong. Rongsheng didn't expect Master Tong to come out and quickly said, "I saw it all. You can ask me anything." "Very good. Tell me what happened just now." "If you dare to lie, you should know the consequences," said Master Tong in a deep voice. "How could I dare to lie?" Rongsheng glanced at Zhang Yu beside him and said, "When I arrived, a dog was slapping Zhang Yu's face. I couldn't stand it, so I exchanged a few blows with the dog. I didn't expect the dog to be so strong that I could only fight it to a draw." "Do you know why the Dark Emperor slapped Zhang Yu's face?" Master Tong asked with a frown. "This." After a moment of hesitation, Rongsheng gritted his teeth and said, "That dog probably stopped Zhang Yu from entering the pill forging chamber, so it suddenly attacked her." Creak! At this moment, the door to the pill refinement room slowly opened. Ningyu and the Dark Emperor walked out side by side. "You have to take responsibility for lying." Ningyu understood a little about what had happened. He knew that the Dark Emperor was not in the wrong, but Zhang Yu herself. For such a despicable person, if it was him, it wouldn't be as simple as just slapping his face. At the very least, he would beat him until he couldn't get up. I didn't lie." Seeing the Dark Emperor, Rongsheng's legs trembled and he even stuttered. He had not forgotten the fear of being dominated by the Dark Emperor. It was still fresh in his mind. "Master." Du Chun did not leave. He felt that it was necessary to defend the Dark Emperor, even though he was not familiar with him. "I saw everything that happened," Du Chun said in a deep voice. "Senior brother, you can't speak up for an outsider," Zhang Yu said sarcastically. Ignoring Zhang Yu, Du Chun sorted out his thoughts and pointed at the Dark Emperor. At that time, when Junior Brother saw the Dark Emperor lying here, he kicked the Dark Emperor without distinguishing between right and wrong. Who would have thought that Junior Brother would fail miserably and get kicked far away by the Dark Emperor? Junior Brother felt embarrassed and launched another powerful attack on the Dark Emperor. The second time, Junior brother was not as lucky as the first time. He was kicked to the ground by the Dark Emperor and only got up after a long time. Then Junior brother spoke rudely and called the Dark Emperor a dead dog. The Dark Emperor was very angry and asked Junior brother to slap himself 50 times. At that time, Rongsheng appeared and fought with the Dark Emperor. He was also defeated by the Dark Emperor, and his high-grade, earth-rank flying sword was twisted and broken by the Dark Emperor. Du Chun, don't lie through your teeth. Zhang Yu was furious. Don't think that I don't know that you're purely jealous of me. Seeing that my soul power has advanced to late-stage 3rd grade, you want to give me a hard time? Enough! Before Zhang Yu could finish his sentence, Master Tong berated. No matter what, the two of you are still brothers. How can you quarrel like shrews here? Rongsheng, Master Tong said coldly, so this is what happened. Rongsheng was a little nervous when he saw Master Tong getting angry. He quickly said, that's what happened. As for who made the first move, I don't know either. Good, very good, very good. Master Tong's expression was very ugly. The disciple that he was always proud of actually lied to him, causing his expression to be extremely gloomy. For the sake of such an unfilial disciple, he almost offended an alchemy genius. Go and reflect on your mistakes. Don't go anywhere before the alchemy conference begins, Master Tong said coldly. Master, Zhang Yu still wanted to explain. Hurry up and get lost. Master Tong's aura exploded from his body. His tone was unquestionable. Fine. I'll go and face the wall. Zhang Yu clenched his fists tightly. A trace of viciousness flashed across his face as he left. After Zhang Yu left, Master Tong said to Ningyu, I was wrong about you just now. I'm really sorry. Shrugging, Ningyu said indifferently, this matter has nothing to do with me. You were wrong about the Dark Emperor. Master Tong was slightly stunned. He could not bring himself to apologize to a dog. After all, Master Tong had seen the world. He knew that it was nothing to apologize to a demonic beast that could speak. After pondering for a moment, Master Tong said to the Dark Emperor, This matter is all my disciple's fault. I apologize on his behalf. I hope you won't stoop to the same level as a junior. Master Tong had a knack for speaking. Others could only see his magnanimity by apologizing on behalf of a junior. They could not see his previous attitude towards the Dark Emperor. TSK, as expected of Master Tong to lower his head to a pet beast. Didn't you see? Master Tong is apologizing on behalf of his disciple, Zhang Yu. No matter what, Master Tong's boldness is already very good. In Wuta City, Master Tong's alchemy skills are the highest apart from the president. I didn't expect him to be so magnanimous. Although Master Tong's way of handling the matter left Ning Yu slightly dissatisfied, it was already considered perfect from Master Tong's point of view. After all, Zhang Yu was his disciple, and the Dark Emperor was only a demonic beast. At the very least, it was acceptable for him to lower himself to apologize. The Dark Emperor could not be bothered with Master Tong. He rolled his eyes and did not speak. Chapter 235. I also know that I cannot be disturbed while refining the energy recovery pill. Let's just forget about it and pretend that it never happened. Waving his hand, Master Tong didn't want to be entangled in this matter. After all, he was going to refine the Supreme Energy Recovery Pill. If he angered Ningyu, he wouldn't even be able to refine a high-grade energy recovery pill, let alone Supreme Energy Recovery Pill. Disperse. Du Chun, stand guard outside the door. No one is allowed to enter without my permission. After saying this, Master Tong entered the alchemy room without looking back. Ningyu will meet at the capital. The Dark Emperor said, Don't cause trouble. Ningyu hurriedly sent a soul message to the Dark Emperor. When we reach the capital, wait for me at the Alchemy Union. Before Ningyu finished his sentence, the Dark Emperor turned into a shadow and left the alchemy union. Helpless, Ningyu entered the alchemy room and continued to guide Master Tong in refining the energy recovery pill. Ningyu promised to help Master Tong refine 2 cauldrons of transcendent grade essence returning pills. So he would definitely help him refine 2 cauldrons of essence returning pills. Originally, Ningyu planned to help Master Tong refine 10 batches of energy recovery pills. After this incident, Ningyu changed his mind and decided to leave immediately after refining 2 batches of energy recovery pills. Ningyu didn't have time to waste here. After all, he knew that when Yi had obtained 4 nether spirit pills. Once when Yi took control of Snow Domain Pavilion, Lu Wei would be in great danger. Relatively speaking, Ningyu cared a lot about Lu Wei's safety. Elder Tong, listen to my instructions. If anything happens, I won't be responsible. In the alchemy room, Ningyu said, if you don't listen to me, I will leave immediately. No problem. Hearing Ningyu's gloomy tone, Master Tong's face turned solemn. Start the cauldron. With a cold expression, Ningyu shouted in a deep voice, put the herbs in and use a small flame to heat the bottom of the furnace. With the previous example, Grand Master Tong did not dare to act on his own. He would do whatever Ningyu said. Under Ningyu's careful guidance, everything was carried out in an orderly manner, and there were no problems in the middle. This batch of medicinal pills should be able to refine a transcendent grade origin recovery pill. Ningyu muttered as he looked at the flame on Grandmaster Tong's fingertip. A transcendent grade essence returning pill was indeed difficult to refine, but Ningyu believed that as long as Master Tong was obedient, refining a transcendent grade essence returning pill in the end shouldn't be a problem. While Ningyu was guiding Master Tong in refining the soul restoring pill, Lu Wei had already rushed to the capital. Although the capital was a full day's journey from Wu Tua City, with the help of the powerhouses of Snow Domain Pavilion, it only took Lu Wei and the others half a day to reach the capital. At this time, at the capital's Snow Domain Pavilion headquarters, why won't you let me see Father? Lu Wei yelled at a man, hurry and get out of my way, I want to see Father. The young man smiled faintly and said, Jiner, stop fooling around. The pavilion master is refining medicinal pills and can't be disturbed now. Don't call me Jean, you're not worthy. Lu Wei's face was livid as she said in a low voice, When Yi, did you not understand what I said? I want to see Father. Hurry and get out of my way. Haha, it's still the same words. The pavilion master is refining medicinal pills and can't be disturbed now. When Yi said with a smile, Don't you want the pavilion master to refine medicinal pills to save your mother? Jean, listen to my advice. Go and have a good rest. 3 days later, I will naturally let you see the pavilion master. The corners of Wan Yi's mouth curled up as he snapped his fingers. Swoosh! Following that, a few men dressed in black suddenly appeared and surrounded Lu Wei. Take her away. If anything happens to her, I will hold you responsible. When Yi said darkly, Yes, the man in black responded and said to Lu Wei, Eldest young lady, please. Humph. When Yi, are you trying to rebel? Lu Wei's expression was ugly as she snorted coldly. What are you waiting for? Take her away. When Yi scolded, Slap. As soon as Wen Yi's voice fell, the man in black suddenly knocked Lu Wei out and quickly left with Lu Wei. Watching Lu Wei's disappearing figure, the corner of Wen Yi's lips curled up and he laughed evilly. Why would I want to rebel? The pavilion master of Snow Domain Pavilion should be a virtuous person. I just don't want Snow Domain Pavilion to be destroyed in the hands of your father. The pill is done. At the same time, in the alchemy union of Wu Ta City, inside the alchemy room, following Ningyu's low shout, Master Tong hurriedly patted the alchemy furnace. In the next moment, the lid opened and a white medicinal pill flew out from the furnace. Slap! Grabbing the white medicinal pill, Master Tong carefully placed it into a jade bottle. The second supreme essence, restoring pill. Looking at the white medicinal pill in the jade bottle, Master Tong revealed a joyful expression. In a short few hours, under Ningyu's guidance, he had already refined 2 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills. Before this, if someone told him that he could refine 2 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills in a short few hours, he would definitely call that person an idiot. But now he had really done it. To be precise, including the first cauldron, he had already refined 3 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills. 1 cauldron of supreme essence restoring pills. 2 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills. Phew! After refining 2 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills, Ningyu also let out a long sigh of relief. The stone in his heart was slightly lifted. Refining pills for Master Tong was also very tiring. Teaching others to refine pills was even more tiring than refining pills himself. After all, there were too many things to consider. Elder Tong, now that you've successfully refined 2 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills, it's time for me to leave, Ningyu said. You're leaving? Master Tong was startled. He pointed at the remaining medicinal ingredients and said, There are still 7 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills to be refined. Why are you leaving? I have something to take care of in the capital, so I'm sorry. You'll have to refine the remaining 7 cauldrons of supreme essence restoring pills yourself, Ningyu said apologetically. I see. Master Tong fell into deep thought. After a while he said, I'm going to the capital in a week. How about we go together? Shaking his head, Ningyu said, There's no need for that. I still have something to do in Wuta City. All right then. What a pity. Master Tong was a little disappointed. Goodbye. After cupping his fists at Master Tong, Ningyu's silhouette flashed, and he left the alchemy room. Watching Ningyu's back as he left, Master Tong frowned and mumbled, If such a genius alchemist doesn't appear in the alchemy conference, it'll be a great loss to the alchemy union. Swoosh! After leaving the alchemy union, Ningyu did not rush to the capital. Instead, he looked for a quiet place to stay. He wanted to consume the exquisite fruit. He wanted to divide the qi whirlpools to the limit of the Xiantian realm. 16. Buzz. In the room, Ningyu called Hong Emo out from the soul-severing sword. Swoosh! Throwing an exquisite fruit to Hong Emo, Ningyu said, I want to consume the exquisite fruit. I hope you can protect me. With Ningyu's strength, it was not difficult to refine the exquisite fruit. The reason why he asked Hong Emo to protect him was that he wanted to divide the qi whirlpools. The division of the qi whirlpools could not be disturbed. Otherwise, it would be a waste of effort. This fruit is useless to me. You should keep it for yourself. Hong Emo returned the Ling Long fruit to Ningyu, then left the room and stood guard outside the door. It was not that Hong Emo could not consume the exquisite fruit. It was because he was a spiritual body. Before his physical body was unsealed, consuming the exquisite fruit would not have any effect. Chapter 236. Since the Hong Emo was guarding it, Ningyu had nothing to worry about anymore. With a flick of his wrist, he took out a few pieces of yuan crystals and started to absorb them using the spirit transformation art. The Ling Long fruit was a fruit that could expand the cyclone. Before eating it, he had to fill the cyclone with yuan qi to ensure that it could bring out its full potential. Since Ningyu had trained the spirit transformation art to the 4th level, his absorption speed had increased tremendously. With the help of the yuan crystals, Ningyu was able to completely fill the cyclone with yuan qi in the evening. After the cyclone was filled with yuan qi, Ningyu spent another 10 minutes to calm himself down. After calming himself down, Ningyu took out a Ling Long fruit and put it in his mouth. Qi. Hot. Very hot. As soon as the exquisite fruit was placed in his mouth, Ningyu felt as if a ball of fire was burning in his mouth. The burning pain caused beads of sweat to appear on his forehead. Ningyu knew that this was the case with the linglong fruit. He must not open his mouth at this moment. He had to endure the pain and swallow the linglong fruit. Gulp! Enduring the pain in his mouth, Ningyu bit his teeth and swallowed the linglong fruit. Hiss! As soon as the linglong fruit entered his stomach, Ningyu sucked in a breath of hot air. F***CK. The linglong fruit is indeed a 7th grade fruit. It's so exciting. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu started to use the spirit transformation art to refine the linglong fruit. After suffering comes happiness. Only those who have suffered the most hardship can become the best. Ningyu understood this, so he endured the pain and started to refine the linglong fruit. Crack! As he used the spirit transformation art, the linglong fruit gradually melted and turned into a ball of red liquid. Enter the sea of consciousness. With a thought, Ningyu's peak rank 4 soul power poured out in full force, enveloping the red liquid and heading toward the spiritual consciousness sea. Buzz! As soon as the red liquid entered the sea of consciousness, Ningyu immediately divided his soul force into 15 parts and controlled the red liquid to wrap around the cyclone. Chi-Chi. The linglong fruit's effect was to expand the cyclone, so when the red liquid came into contact with the cyclone, it directly drilled into it and fused with the cyclone. The red liquid fused with the cyclone, and Ningyu immediately felt a swelling pain from the cyclone, and the cyclone began to slowly expand. Although the cyclone was expanding very slowly, it was still discovered by Ningyu's sharp senses. At this rate, my cyclone should be able to double in size by tomorrow morning. Ningyu's face lit up with joy. If the cyclone doubled in size, his strength would not simply increase by a single fold, but by several folds. The larger the cyclone, the more essence chi it could hold. The benefits of increasing vitality were obvious. This is not the time to be careless. Suppressing the joy in his heart, Ningyu focused his attention on the changes in the cyclone. He knew that before the cyclone doubled in size, he could not afford to be careless. Whoosh! Time flew, and in the blink of an eye, 6 hours had passed. Seeing the changes in the cyclone in his sea of consciousness, Ningyu was a little dazed. This was because after his cyclone expanded by half, it stopped. The sudden change caused Ningyu's face to change, and he immediately checked the cyclone. Holy shit, the linglong fruit's liquid has been completely absorbed. After a while, Ningyu was a little dumbfounded because the liquid from the linglong fruit had been completely absorbed, and not a single drop was left. Could it be that I have too many cyclones, causing me to be unable to double in size? Others could only have 1 cyclone, and geniuses could have 5 to 6 cyclones, and those people could swallow the linglong fruit to double in size. Ningyu had 15 cyclones, and 1 linglong fruit could expand all 15 cyclones by half, which was already not bad. The linglong fruit is only effective for the first time, and useless for the second time. Ningyu was a little speechless. After all, the linglong fruit had no effect on the second time, or else he would have definitely eaten the second one. Forget it, half it is. Slowly letting out a mouthful of turbid air, Ningyu took out a few pieces of supreme grade yuan crystals and started to absorb them. This was an opportunity, and Ningyu wanted to use this chance to divide the cyclones into 16. The cyclone had expanded by half, and Ningyu had to wait until the next morning to fill it up. After filling up the cyclone, Ningyu split his soul power to search carefully in his sea of consciousness. He wanted to find the biggest cyclone and use it to complete the last cyclone division. This is not right. Why are all 14 cyclones the same size? Ningyu was stunned. According to his inspection, all 14 cyclones were the same size, and there was no difference at all. The only unusual cyclone was the cyclone where the indigo spiritual fire was. Could it be that I have to divide this cyclone? Ningyu fell into deep thought. He still remembered the result of the last time he divided the cyclone. Fearing that the azure spiritual fire would cause trouble, Ningyu did not dare to divide this cyclone. I can't catch the wolf without risking the child. After thinking for 3 seconds, Ningyu gritted his teeth and decided to divide this cyclone. Ningyu immediately used the spiritual transformation art and absorbed the Yuan Qi into the cyclone where the azure spiritual fire was. As the Yuan Qi continued to enter the cyclone, the thing that Ningyu was worried about finally happened. No matter how much Yuan Qi entered the cyclone, it was all devoured by the azure spiritual fire and nothing was left. I want to see how much Yuan Qi you can devour. Ningyu's anger rose as well. He used the spiritual transformation art to the extreme, and the Yuan Qi from the supreme grade Yuan crystals flowed into the cyclone continuously. The azure spiritual fire did not hold back and absorbed as much as it came. Boom! Just like that, the stalemate lasted for half a day, and the azure spiritual fire was finally full. Then the azure spiritual fire exploded and split into 2. Bang! When the azure spiritual fire exploded, the cyclone it was in also split into 2 and turned into 2 cyclones. 16. Feeling the changes in the cyclones, Ningyu was ecstatic. At this moment, his cyclones had reached the limit of the Xiantian stage's cyclones. 16. What? However, before Ningyu could rejoice for long, his expression changed drastically. The azure spiritual fire that had split into 2 split into 4, for split into 8, and 8 split into 16. 16 wisps of azure spiritual fire wrapped around the 16 cyclones. Crack! 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 Immediately after, the 16 cyclones all exploded and disappeared into thin air. What the F***CK is going on? Can someone tell me? The sudden change caused Ningyu to be completely dumbfounded. All 16 cyclones exploded, which meant that there was not a single cyclone left in his sea of consciousness. Buzz, buzz, buzz! Just as Ningyu was in a daze, a buzzing sound rang out in his sea of consciousness. When this buzzing sound rang out, a vortex formed in his sea of consciousness. Suppress it! After a short moment of confusion, Ningyu reacted. He hurriedly controlled his 4th grade soul force to enter his sea of consciousness and started to suppress the violent Yuan Qi within. As the soul force continued to suppress, the majestic Yuan Qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness began to shrink rapidly. Chapter 237. Bang! A clear, muffled sound quietly rang out from Ningyu's body. As the muffled sound rang out, Ningyu also exhaled lightly. His tightly shut eyes slowly opened as his mind sank into a sea of consciousness. Within his sea of knowledge, a cyclone the size of a palm was slowly revolving. Looking at the cyclone in his sea of knowledge, Ningyu frowned in confusion. The cyclone in his sea of knowledge was somewhat different from ordinary cyclones. Ordinary cyclones were gaseous, but his cyclone had completely turned into a liquid state. To be more accurate, it could not be considered a cyclone, but a liquid cyclone. It's actually a liquid cyclone. Isn't this too inconceivable? Ningyu was dumbfounded. He could not believe what was happening in front of him. Logically speaking, a cyclone would only turn into a liquid cyclone at the peak of the true martial realm, and then into a golden core at the half-step Yuan Dan realm. Yet Ningyu was only at the peak of the Xiantian realm, not even half a step into the true martial realm. Yet he could actually turn a cyclone into a liquid state. No one would believe him if he said it out loud. 16 cyclones combined into one, turning into a liquid cyclone. A cyclone is not bad. At least the density of the Yuan Qi has reached the peak of the true martial realm. Although 16 cyclones had turned into one cyclone, the density of the Yuan Qi in this cyclone was extremely high. It had reached the level of a peak true realm martial artist, and could even contend with a half-step Yuan Dan realm martial artist. Swoosh! At this moment, the azure spiritual fire that had been hibernating in his sea of knowledge suddenly turned into a cold light and drilled into the liquid cyclone. The sudden change caused Ning Yu's expression to change greatly. After a short moment of shock, Ning Yu once again returned to normal. Because what he was worried about did not happen, the azure spiritual fire calmed down after entering the liquid cyclone, and did not absorb the yuan qi within. Since that was the case, Ning Yu was relieved. I can only wait until I advance to the true martial realm before trying to split the cyclone. With a thought, Ning Yu retreated from his sea of knowledge and walked towards the door. Creak! Pushing open the door, Ning Yu said to the Red Fiend, "Let's set off immediately for the capital." The capital of the Great Xia Kingdom wasn't just the largest city in the Great Xia Kingdom. It was also the political and economic center. At the same time, the capital was a land of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. 80% of the Great Xia Kingdom's absolute experts were hidden in the capital. Speaking of the capital, one had to mention the royal family. Although the prestige of the imperial family had been greatly suppressed due to the restrictions of the aristocratic families, a skinny camel was still bigger than a horse. In the capital, many people were still terrified at the mention of the imperial family. Danwu College was a powerful force that could wrestle with the imperial family. However, Danwu College was a college and had no ambition to dominate. As the saying goes, two tigers cannot live on the same mountain, unless one is male and one is female. If Danwu College really had the desire to dominate, it would not be able to coexist with the royal family. Beneath the royal family and Danwu College, there were many other powerful forces in the capital. Zhang Family, Snow Pavilion, Drunken Cloud Manor, Assassination Pavilion, Black Market. These 5 forces were known as the top 5 forces in the capital. Apart from the royal family and Danwu College, they were the most powerful. It was said that the strongest of these 5 forces had reached the pinnacle of the primal core stage and could even break through to the yin-yang stage. Swoosh! Swoosh! The next day, when the first ray of sunlight shone on the ground, 2 silhouettes approached and stopped a few hundred meters away from the capital. What's going on in front? Looking at the hundreds of people in front of him, Ning Yu frowned in confusion. After leaving Wu Tua City, Ning Yu and the Red Devil rushed to the capital without stopping. Even so, they only arrived at the capital city gate early the next morning. They seemed to be checking something. They should be queuing to enter the capital. Ning Yu did not dare to use his soul power to detect here, so the Red Devil could see more clearly than him. Since when do we have to queue to enter the capital? Ning Yu frowned. He had never heard of queuing to enter the capital. Sigh, it's all because of a dog. Just then the young man in his 20s sighed and said, "Because of that dog, the entire capital is now under martial law. No matter when you enter the capital, you have to be checked, and it's a very detailed check." Dog. Ning Yu was stunned and asked, "Can you tell me what's going on?" The young man looked at the long queue in the distance and stopped. He said, "Yesterday morning, something big happened in the He family. Other than their patriarch, the other 52 members of the family were all killed. That kind of tragedy, Heske, if I saw you, I would definitely not be able to eat." "What has this got to do with the dog?" Ning Yu asked. Of course it has something to do with it. Yesterday morning, someone saw the He family patriarch running away in a panic. Behind him, a dog bared its teeth and chased after him. The young man continued, "It's obvious that the dog is the culprit. It didn't stop after killing 52 members of the He family, and even wanted to kill the He family patriarch. Just what kind of divine being is that dog? Why is it so savage?" Ning Yu asked in a low voice. "Who knows? I'm afraid that the dog has a grudge with the He family." Shrugging, the young man said, "That dog's strength is very strong." The He family patriarch is a half-step primal core realm martial artist, but he was actually chased by it. Although the He family is only a third-rate force, they have business dealings with many second-rate forces. After the disturbance caused by that black dog, many second-rate forces announced that they would spend 10 million high-grade essence crystals to buy that dog's head. A dog's head is actually worth 10 million high-grade essence crystals. Sigh, what a pity. I ate a lot of dog meat in the past. What a pity. As he spoke, the young man revealed a regretful expression. That expression was as if he had lost 10 million high-grade essence crystals. Black dog, it can't be the Dark Emperor, right? Ning Yu was slightly worried. The black dog could chase after a half-step primal core realm martial artist. In addition, the Dark Emperor had already arrived at the capital yesterday. All the signs pointed to the dog being the Dark Emperor. The Dark Emperor was reckless and thoughtless. Only he could do such a preposterous thing. Ning Yu did not believe that the Dark Emperor would exterminate an entire family for no reason. After all, the Dark Emperor was not bad by nature, unless there was really something wrong with the He family. Ning Yu, the Dark Emperor has summoned me. Enter the capital first. I will look for you with the Dark Emperor. Suddenly, a voice rang in Ning Yu's mind. Then, the Red Devil stomped on the ground and dashed into the distance. Damn it! The Red Devil's actions made Ning Yu even more certain that the dog the young man was talking about was the Dark Emperor. Why is this strange man in red not going to the capital? Chapter 238. Ash. Ning Yu was slightly startled. There were really all kinds of weirdos. There was actually something called ash. It would be better to call it an ashtray. I'm going to faint. Yan Hui rolled his eyes and said solemnly, My name is Yan Hui, the strict Yan, the brilliant Hui. Sorry. Ning Yu was a little embarrassed as he said, Yan Hui, your name is Yan Hui. That's more like it. Yan Hui was very satisfied. Many people had missed his name. Fortunately, Ning Yu had apologized early. Otherwise, he would have definitely had a good talk with Ning Yu. Ning Yu said, Brother Ning Yu, I see that you're younger than me. It's all right for me to call you brother, right? Yan Hui said, No problem. Ning Yu was speechless. This Yan Hui was really friendly. Let's go. I'm very familiar with the people guarding the gate. With my help, no one will dare to interrogate you. As he spoke, Yan Hui came to Ning Yu's side and put his arm around Ning Yu's shoulder. I'm not gay. Ning Yu hurriedly patted Yan Hui's hand off his shoulder and distanced himself from Yan Hui. At the same time, he looked at Yan Hui with a strange gaze. This Yan Hui, could it be that he was gay? This time, it was Yan Hui's turn to be embarrassed. He hurriedly waved his hand and leaned towards Ning Yu, saying, I'm not gay. How could I be gay? Look, don't come over. Ning Yu pushed his palm forward and said, It's better if we keep some distance. I don't know if you're gay or not. If you really are, wouldn't I suffer a huge loss? I'm innocent, I'm really not gay. I like women. Women, do you know? Have you seen them? Yan Hui cried out in injustice. Ning Yu gave Yan Hui an understanding look, then quickly walked towards the city gate. Since he had the help of the Red Devil, even if the He family's tragedy was really caused by the Dark Emperor would definitely not be in any danger. The Red Devil was a spirit body and could transform into a flying sword, so it was not easy to expose himself. But Ning Yu was different. If he went to find the Dark Emperor, his identity would be easily exposed. Brother Ning Yu, wait for me. Yan Hui stomped his feet angrily and hurriedly chased after him. The line of hundreds of people took an hour before it was Ning Yu and Yan Hui's turn. Wait a minute, routine interrogation. In front of the city gate, Ning Yu and the others were stopped. Little brother, we are going to the capital to meet our relatives, Yan Hui hurriedly said. Yan Hui, even if you go to see the prince, you will be interrogated. The guard didn't give Yan Hui any face at all. Instead, he berated, "Obediently accept the interrogation. Otherwise, we'll put you in jail." Yan Hui's expression was a little ugly. He originally wanted to perform in front of Ningyu and improve his impression in Ningyu's heart. Who would have thought that the guards wouldn't give him any face at all? "We are going to Snow Pavilion." At this moment, Ningyu shook his wrist and took out a token. 3-star token. Snow Pavilion, 3-star guardian. Seeing the token in Ningyu's hand, the guard's eyes lit up and said, "No problem, you can go in." Putting away the token, Ningyu walked forward. "He can go in, but you can't. You need to be checked." The guard was obviously against Yan Hui and stopped him. "Me? Him? You?" Yan Hui's face was full of embarrassment. He could not even speak clearly. "Why can he go in, but I can't?" "He is a 3-star guardian of Snow Pavilion. What are you?" The guard said. "I am not a thing." Yan Hui's face was ugly. He said in a deep voice, "Bah, I am a thing. You are not a thing. I suspect that you are related to that dog. Arrest him." The guard's face was cold and he shouted, "Little brother, we are together." Ningyu stopped helplessly. He came in front of the guard and pointed at Yan Hui. "He is my follower." Hearing Ningyu's words, Yan Hui's face was full of black lines. But in order to enter the capital, he could only endure. "Make an exception. It's not the first time we've entered the capital." Ningyu stealthily stuffed a high-grade origin crystal into the guard's hand as he spoke. These guards were mostly at the Hotian realm. A high-grade essence crystal was enough for them to cultivate for a long time. Taking the essence crystal from Ningyu, the guard nodded in satisfaction and said, "Go in." This time, Yan Hui was well behaved. He carefully followed behind Ningyu and walked towards the capital. Once they entered the capital, Yan Hui returned to normal. He said angrily, "Those soldiers are too arrogant. They better hope they don't meet me again. Otherwise, I will teach them a lesson. Just now, you were like a coward and didn't even dare to say a word. Now you are full of vigor?" Ningyu said, "I don't want to lower myself to the same level as those soldiers." Yan Hui did not feel embarrassed at all. He said, "My goal is very ambitious. I want to enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College." "You want to enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College?" Hearing this, Ningyu was shocked. He quickly observed Yan Hui. With one look, Ningyu was stunned. He had the cultivation of the innate, complete realm. The essence in his sea of consciousness was dense and his aura was stable. "What is your ranking on the innate realm combat list?" Ningyu asked calmly. It was not easy to enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. The requirements were very clear. One had to be in the top 100 on the innate realm combat list. The top 100 were only qualified to take part in the assessment. It did not mean that they would definitely enter the Sacred Institute. That goes without saying. Of course, it's the top 100 of the innate realm battle list. Yan Hui said proudly, "I know you are in the top 100. I mean, what rank are you exactly?" Ningyu asked again. "About that." "You will be scared to death if I tell you." Yan Hui's expression was a little exaggerated. He said, "Open your eyes and listen carefully. I am ranked 99th on the innate realm combat list." Uft. Seeing how serious Yan Hui was, Ningyu thought that he would be ranked higher on the innate realm combat list. Who would have thought that he was ranked 99th, even lower than him? Hey, don't tell me you're scared by me." Yan Hui was very narcissistic. He said, "Follow me. When I enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College, I will think of a way to let you enter the outer court." As Ningyu had suppressed his aura to the early stage of the innate realm, Yan Hui did not know Ningyu's real cultivation. "That will have to wait until you enter the Sacred Institute." Leaving this sentence, Ningyu left quickly. "Brother Ningyu, are you going to the Snow Pavilion? Yan Hui followed up and said, I heard that the daughter of the master of the Snow Domain Pavilion, Lu Swan, is very pretty like a fairy. Have you seen her? You are the 3 stars elder of the Snow Pavilion. You should be a rank 3 alchemist, right? But it is a pity that you will not see Lu Wei if you go to the Snow Pavilion now. Ningyu stopped and asked, Why can't I see Lu Wei? Didn't she come back a few days ago? Ningyu knew that Lu Wei left the Alchemy Union of Wu Tuo City a few days ago and returned to the capital. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.